Hello and welcome to Chinese Novel Audiobook. Explore our playlist for more captivating novels, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 21 Persuasion. As a personal disciple, you can get the teaching of Saint Lord in the Holy Land and learn a lot of skills. Zhao Junyi knew that Wang Yi's strength was extraordinary, so she personally taught Zhao Feng'er, and her strength would definitely improve quickly. But now Zhao Feng'er is just a cook. To put it bluntly, it is an anonymous disciple. What can this learn? The status in the Holy Land is very poor. Wang Yi said slowly, "My venerable bluntly, Zhao Feng'er's aptitude is a bit poor, not even qualified as a handyman disciple, let alone a direct disciple. In the eyes of the Divine Sect system, the supreme body is the lowest standard for accepting apprentices, and they can only become handyman disciples. Isn't Jin Yiyu just guarding the door? If this Zhao Feng'er can enter the Outer Sect, what will Jin Yiyu think? It is definitely believed that the two have some abnormal transactions. Now that Wang Yi has become an emperor, his vision is very broad, and his character has also been raised to an unbelievable level. The temptation in the eyes of ordinary people is not worth mentioning in his eyes. Taking in more female disciples is nothing more than fulfilling the master's last wish." Zhao Junyi pierced her palm with her slender nails, leaving a few bloody red marks. Zhao Feng'er was so humiliated, she, as a mother, naturally couldn't bear it. However, he couldn't beat Wang Yi at all, so he could only keep the fire in his heart. Secretly said, "What the hell? I must let Feng'er leave here." After a while, the two came to the kitchen behind the mountain. A tempting aroma wafted from the kitchen window. When Zhao Junyi smelled this smell, she actually felt the coercion from bloodline. What's going on in the kitchen? Entering the kitchen, Zhao Feng'er was busy in front of the stove, with a few drops of fragrant sweat dripping down her cheeks. And she didn't care about wiping her sweat at all, she was all focused on the chicken feet, and she didn't even know that someone came in behind her. This is Phoenix Claw. Zhao Junyi recognized the crimson skin on the claw with such vision. Moreover, there was a terrifying bloodline coercion on the Phoenix Claw, which made her soul tremble. Phoenix Claw's bloodline is so strong. Could it be Phoenix? Hiss. The honored blood Phoenix is very powerful and has the ability to fly, so it is difficult to kill it. Zhao Junyi moved a little closer, feeling the power of the flames inadvertently released from the stove, and took several steps towards retreat. What kind of flame is this? It is many times more terrifying than the Phoenix fire. Can cook the blood-honored chicken feet. As a member of the Tianfeng family, I know how difficult the meat of Phoenix is to cook. Phoenix itself controls the power of fire, and its physical body can withstand extremely high temperatures. Even if it falls into hot magma, it will be unscathed. Now, Zhao Junyi has only one thought left. This kitchen is not easy. After a while, Zhao Feng'er roasted the phoenix and put it on a special dinner plate. It's ready. Saint Lord would like to eat it, right? Now she is eager to make a delicious meal to satisfy the Saint Lord, so as to prove the value of own. If you can't even be a chef and get expelled by Saint Lord, you will be laughed at to death. Ah! Zhao Feng'er turned her head and saw Wang Yi and her mother standing behind her, her pretty face turned red. "Saint Lord, when did you come?" Wang Yi nodded in response, and said, "I've been here for a while, and your cooking skills are still a bit rusty and flustered. You need to practice your cooking skills in the future." Zhao Feng'er shuddered nervously. "Saint Lord, I will definitely practice my cooking skills." Seeing this scene, Zhao Junyi frowned slightly. Secretly said, "Feng'er seems to really want to practice cooking. What kind of stupor did Saint Lord give her to give up even practicing?" Zhao Feng'er turned her head and said, "Mother, why are you here?" Zhao Junyi said with a cold face, "Saint Lord, can I have a private talk with Feng'er?" "Please," Wang Yi said casually. Zhao Feng'er brought her mother to the backyard. Zhao Junyi's face instantly turned as dark as an eggplant. "Feng'er, get out of the Holy Land for me. This kind of place that doesn't take you seriously, don't wait." Instead, Zhao Feng'er was stunned. "Mom, why do you think this way? Saint Lord asked me to be a cook in the back kitchen, that is a gift to me. Green smoke is rising from the ancestral grave of our Tianfeng clan, which is why I got such a golden opportunity. I should cherish it well, try my best to find a way to stay in the Holy Land. Even if other holy places give me the title of saint, I won't change it. After a day and a night, I finally know the horror of the holy land of absolute beginning, so how can I be willing to leave? The back of Zhao Junhe's hand was pressed against Fenger's smooth forehead, and there was a very hot touch. You are really confused. The ancestral grave is smoking, so you are asked to come here as a cook. The position of a saint is not as good as a cook. Hurry up and think of a way to get out of the Holy Land. As long as your cooking is unpalatable, the Saint Lord will let you go sooner or later. Zhao Fenger pushed the hand on her forehead away. Mom, my forehead is hot, it was just sitting next to the stove, I really didn't get burnt. Do you know what kind of wood is used to burn chicken feet? That's Qin Emperor wood. Although the stove can insulate most of the temperature, it still emits some heat, and it is normal for the forehead to be burned. You're really confused. Zhao Junhe was so angry that she almost went crazy. How can the priceless Qin Demu be used as firewood? The Great Emperor doesn't dare to use it like that. I know you don't believe it. Zhao Fenger raised her jade hand and pointed to the firewood pile in the corner. Go and see for yourself. Zhao Junhe didn't pay attention to it at first, but when she saw the flame pattern of the wood, her pupils suddenly shrank. This pattern is exactly the same as Tianfeng Emperor's hairpin, and even the flame breath is much stronger. Could it be that it's really Qin Emperor wood? Touched lightly on Demu with his hand. Rumbling. Consciousness seems to be in a sea of flames, surrounded by endless and terrifying flames. Even if she transforms into Phoenix, she will not be able to resist, and sooner or later she will be burned to ashes by these flames. Hiss. Zhao Junhe quickly withdrew her hand, her back was covered in cold sweat. Terrible. This is definitely Qin Emperor wood. The Tianfeng Emperor hairpin was carved from Qin Emperor wood, and she pinned it on her head. She was very familiar with the breath of this Emperor wood. Zhao Junhe glanced at the pile of firewood. There were hundreds of blaze-grained Emperor wood, placed there, without even a protective measure. Hiss. What's the value of so many fiery emerald woods? It's really unimaginable. A piece of Tianfeng Emperor's hairpin can be regarded as the inheritance treasure of the Tianfeng clan. For these emperor trees in front of us, at least tens of thousands of hairpins have to be made, right? There are so many Qin Emperor woods here, are you afraid of losing them? Mother, these blaze-grained Emperor woods are placed here by the Saint Lord for cooking and cooking. Zhao Fenger sighed. Think about it, since it's used for cooking and cooking, I definitely don't care about throwing it away. Chapter 22 The ancestral grave is smoking. It's really used for cooking. Zhao Junhe never thought that someone's life could be so extravagant. In her eyes, the extremely precious Demu is just firewood for fire. Who the hell is Saint Lord? She knew that this Saint Lord must not be the begging boy before, but someone else. By the way, what is the chicken feet you roasted just now? Zhao Fenger said with emotion. That's the 9 mysterious heaven phoenix hunted and killed by Saint Lord. Ah. Zhao Junhe took several steps back in fright before she stabilized her figure. Ju mysterious heaven phoenix. Saint Lord has such terrifying strength. I fought with Saint Lord just now, and I know that his strength is very terrifying. But after hearing the 9 mysterious heaven phoenixes, he realized that Wang Yi's true strength was still far underestimated. 9 mysterious heaven phoenix, that is the existence of their Tianfeng clan, they dare not even think about it. It is estimated that a single flame from Xuanfeng can destroy the Tianfeng clan. Saint Lord is looking at Fenger for your face, so he didn't kill you. Otherwise, we old bones, I'm afraid there will be no bones left. Zhao Junhe felt like she was alive after a catastrophe. Zhao Fenger raised her eyebrows, and said with some pride, Mother, guess what, in order to make me cook better, what kind of cultivation technique did the Saint Lord give me? Fire and cook. Zhao Junhe felt that this cultivation technique was not much better when she heard it. Don't be a fool, just say it. This is it. Zhao Fenger took out a thick ancient book from the space ring. At first, Zhao Junhe didn't care. You can see the big characters above, and the pupils suddenly shrink. Skyfire Emperor Phoenix Code. I must be old, my eyes are blurry. Zhao Junhe rubbed her eyes vigorously, and looked at the ancient book again, and there were still those big characters. Or else it's just a dream. I squeezed my thigh hard. It doesn't hurt, it's a dream. Mom, you are pinching my thigh, it hurts. Zhao Fenger grinned and gasped. This is really the Heavenly Fire Emperor Fengdian. Have you read the content? Zhao Junyi said with a trembling voice. I've seen it, it's the real thing. Zhao Feng'er said with certainty. There are restrictions on this cultivation technique, which need to be refined before you can read it, and you can only read it yourself, and you cannot pass it on. Otherwise, suffer the heavenly Tao backlash. Oh my god. Zhao Junyi felt that the scene in front of her was spinning, and her entire worldview collapsed. Just because you cook with fire and better control the flames, Saint Lord passed on the Heavenly Fire Emperor Phoenix Code to you. Can all the cooks in the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning practice the Emperor rank cultivation technique? It's too extravagant. The Tianjiao Emperor Fengdian records the method to promote Phoenix bloodline, and is known as the treasure of all Phoenix clans. Countless strong men wanted to find this code, but there was no news of it. Unexpectedly, Zhao Feng'er got it. In the future, Zhao Feng'er will definitely be able to promote bloodline to Tianfeng with this Feng code. Zhao Feng'er had a look of pride on her face. Mother, now you know how terrifying the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning is. Zhao Junyi nodded hastily. It is indeed your blessing that you can join the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Since the Saint Lord is interested in your cooking skills, you must study the art of cooking well and strive to satisfy the Saint Lord. If you can get the Heavenly Fire Emperor Fengdian just by being a cook, then this cook is amazing. Even if it is given the position of a saint, it will not be changed. With this Emperor-level cultivation technique, Zhao Feng'er has the opportunity to promote bloodline to a noble blood, and may even be promoted to an even more terrifying level. At that time, with the power of the terrifying bloodline, all Phoenix clans can be ruled. Zhao Feng'er exhorted, Mother, the matter of Tianjiao Emperor Fengdian must not be spread to the outside world. Well, of course I know about this. Zhao Junyi nodded, hurry up and go back, Saint Lord is probably still waiting to eat chicken feet. From the initial opposition to the current approval, it only took a short time. Now, Zhao Junyi already believed that Zhao Feng'er would have a very good development even if she was only a cook in the Holy Land. Next, the two returned to the kitchen. There was a smile on Zhao Junyi's face. Saint Lord, before, my clansmen and I were eager to save our daughter, and acted a little impulsively. I will definitely bring a big gift to make amends in the future. I hope you don't blame me. It's okay. Wang Yi said calmly, how is your talk with Zhao Feng'er? Do you want her to leave the Holy Land and follow you? No, no, no. Zhao Junyi quickly waved her hands, Feng'er is fine here, let her be the cook, let's train her. Yeah, Wang Yi smiled inwardly. Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, even cooks, use the Emperor rank cultivation technique. Which of the other forces can compare? I won't bother you, I'll leave. Seeing that Wang Yi didn't blame too much, Zhao Junyi breathed a sigh of relief. At the gate of the mountain, many members of the Tianfeng clan stood guard here. After waiting for a while, they finally saw the head of the clan returning. After breath adjustment, the clansman's injury improved slightly. Patriarch. Elder Zhao Sha hurried over, how's the situation? Has Zhao Feng'er really become a cook? Yeah, there was a faint smile on the corner of Zhao Junyi's mouth, that's right, I saw her in the kitchen. Damn it. Zhao Sha said angrily, Feng'er's aptitude is to become a cook. What kind of shit is this Holy Land of Absolute Beginning? Let Feng'er get out of this place as soon as possible. Hush. Zhao Junyi turned her head to look in the direction of the Holy Land, you can't say that. Feng'er joined the Holy Land, that is her luck. It's our Tianfeng clan's ancestral grave that smokes. How can I get Feng'er to leave the Holy Land? Feng'er finally joined the Holy Land, but she can't be allowed to leave. Patriarch. Zhao Sha looked at him with some surprise, are you confused? Or did the Saint Lord give you some stupor? Smoke from the ancestral grave made Feng'er a cook. What's the difference between that and no smoke? After speaking, he put his hand on Zhao Junyi's forehead and found that it was not hot. I didn't burn it. I didn't drink any stupor. Zhao Junyi pushed Zhao Sha's old hand away. I tell you that you don't understand. Anyway, Feng'er can work as a cook in the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, it's my luck. Quote. Not only Zhao Sha was stupid. Those clan elders and strong men who were traveling together were all dumbfounded after hearing these words. The Patriarch is really confused. Oh, I thought the Patriarch could rescue Feng'er, or show her the way, but who would have thought that I would get lost too? A few years later, the gap in Fenger's strength will become more and more obvious. I guess even the members of the Phoenix clan will be unable to compare. Now, there is no one who is optimistic about Zhao Fenger. The holy mountain of absolute beginning. In a quiet attic. The Eight Immortals table is set with nuohong and a huge dinner plate with grilled chicken feet. Wang Yi picked up the chicken feet and lightly bit the scorched red skin. Crunch. The skin is crispy, the meat is tender, plump and juicy. It's delicious. Chapter 23 Tianfeng Bloodline. Zhao Fenger stood aside, pinching her cuffs with jade hands, looking nervously at the Saint Lord who was having dinner. Seeing that he took a bite of the chicken feet with a very enjoyment on his face, he breathed a sigh of relief. Saint Lord, is the taste still good? Not bad. Wang Yi nodded in satisfaction. The chicken feet are charred on the outside and tender on the inside, and the meat is delicious. The roasting heat is just right. It was definitely the best chicken feet he had ever had. I am quite satisfied with Zhao Fenger's craftsmanship. Thank you Saint Lord for your praise. Zhao Fenger finally smiled when she heard this. My seat is very happy. Wang Yi took out the jade bottle casually. I give you this bottle of phoenix blood. Phoenix blood. Zhao Fenger took the jade bottle with both hands, and after opening the bottle cap, a light red breath sprayed out from the bottle, forming a phoenix in the air. It's the blood of the 9 mysterious heaven phoenixes. Saint Lord, do you really want to reward me with this bottle of blood? 9 mysterious heaven phoenix bloodline, equivalent to the supreme body, has great benefits for Zhao Fenger. Especially if you get the Tianjiao Emperor Fengdian, you can use the cultivation technique to absorb the power contained in the blood, which can quickly improve the bloodline. A bottle of phoenix blood is nothing more than a bottle. Wang Yi himself didn't need this kind of thing, so it was just right to give it to his disciples. If a disciple can be promoted through bloodline, he will also receive generous system rewards. It can be said to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Thank you Saint Lord. Zhao Fenger knelt on the ground and kowtowed several times to Wang Yi. Okay, let's go down. Wang Yi waved his hand. Zhao Fenger cleaned up the table, wiped it again, and left. Kitchen backyard. After a busy day's work, Zhao Fenger lit a candle, held the Tianjiao Emperor Fengdian, and carefully read it. This book is really mysterious. It took about 1 night to read the entire book. As for her, she has initially grasped the content of this book, and she has already entered the door. As long as I refine the blood of the 9 mysterious heaven phoenixes, my bloodline can be promoted. Prepare the Saint Lord for breakfast first. As a cook, the main task is to cook for Wang Yi. Things like cultivation should be postponed until the evening when you are free. After a busy day, Zhao Fenger took out the phoenix blood and absorbed it according to the refining method recorded in the cultivation technique. On the body, a red light was released, and the phoenix breath in the body became stronger and stronger. At a certain moment, Zhao Fenger suddenly opened her eyes, a red light rushed to the sky, and turned into a phoenix on the 9 heavens, reflecting the night sky into a piece of red. This phoenix's aura is very strong, far stronger than the Chuo phoenix. The holy mountain of absolute beginning. Wang Yi opened his eyes and looked at the night sky through the half-closed window. The shadow of Phoenix is reflected in the pupil. Tianfeng. I didn't expect Zhao Fenger bloodline to be promoted so quickly. Tianfeng bloodline is equivalent to honored blood, but the rank is not high, only inferior honored blood. If someday, you can be promoted to 9 mysterious heaven phoenixes, which is equivalent to apex blood. With the power of bloodline, it will overwhelm the crowd. At this moment, a reminder sounded in my mind. Ding! You help anonymous disciple Zhao Fenger improve bloodline. Reward, Divine Sect large gift bag. Hearing the prompt, Wang Yi was overjoyed. Sure enough. Anonymous disciples can also get rewards. Although the disciples are not named, they are considered members of the Holy Land. As long as it is an opportunity given by Wang Yi to help his disciple bloodline advance, he will be rewarded. This reward mechanism is quite good. System, open the gift bag. Ding! You opened the Divine Sect large gift bag and got a reward, a bottle of life sap. 10 Nirvana pills. Flipping the wrist, a white jade bottle and a mahogany brocade box appeared in the palm. Open one of the bottles, and look into the bottle with the sunlight above your head. This is a bottle of ink green liquid, shiny green, containing endless vitality. Even if it was Wang Yi's realm, After taking a breath, he felt that the vitality in his body became stronger. Life tree sap, a liquid containing endless vitality. No matter how serious the injury is, as long as there is one breath, it can be recovered after taking it. This life sap is a good thing, Wang Yi said with emotion. The way of cultivation is to fight against the sky, and injury is inevitable. With life sap, taking a drop after injury can make the injury recover in a short time, which is equivalent to having a second life. At critical moments, it can play a big role. After careful calculation, a bottle contains about 100 drops, which is enough for a long time. Open the lid of the mahogany brocade box. Inside is a medicine pill the size of an adult's fist, as white as jade. The strong aroma of medicine diffuses on the medicine pill. Nirvana pill. As long as you keep a complete body within 7 days of death, you can bring the dead back to life by taking this pill. If you have some kind of defect in your body, you can also take this pill to regain your life. The eunuch agrees to use it. The eunuch. Wang Yi smiled bitterly. If the eunuch uses it, he can regain his glory, right? The value of Nirvana Dan is much higher than that of life sap. After all, even the dead can be saved. There are 10 Nirvana pills in total, and if used on the righteous way, they can be of great value. 2 months flew by. During this period, Wang Yi has been looking for a kendo disciple of the Zuntai level, but unfortunately he has not found one. As soon as I saw it, I arrived at the disciple acceptance meeting. On the west side of Jinling City, there is a very spacious square where hundreds of thousands of people gather. It can be said that all the children who are looking forward to joining sect have come here. There are many high platforms built on the square, with banners hanging on them, and the names of sect, holy religion, and holy places are written one by one. According to the strength of the forces, the high platforms built are also very different. Most of the teenagers who come to apprentice will choose powerful forces. In an inconspicuous corner of the square, a 3-foot square platform was built, with only 2 people on it. One of the young men. Next to her is a beautiful woman with a hot figure and slender and straight legs. This is the stand of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Compared with other sects and holy cults, the platform of Holy Land of Absolute Beginning is very small and its location is relatively remote. When many people come to the square, they don't go to the corners at all, they only pay attention to the big tables in the center. Saint Lord, isn't this table a bit small? It's hard to attract people with good qualifications. Jin Yiyu looked at the table next to sect, which was bigger than the one in Holy Land. The strength of our Holy Land of Absolute Beginning and the platform we have must be the biggest in this square. The platform and location distribution of the square are divided according to the forces of sect. Jinling Chung has already done statistics, and it doesn't mean that as big a platform as you want, you can have as big as you want. It doesn't matter. Wang Yi didn't care too much about it. In this square, there are hundreds of thousands of people who are eligible to join the Holy Land, almost zero. Even if it's in the middle, the best position, it's just a waste of words. Chapter 24 Apprenticeship Conference. Wang Yi's vision is extremely high, and only those with the qualifications of respecting the body can appreciate it. Moreover, Zunti was taken in as a disciple of handyman, such as guarding the gate, cleaning the holy place and so on. Saint Lord. Jin Yiyu glanced at the passing crowd. Is the standard for accepting disciples in our holy land a bit too harsh? No. Wang Yi shook his head slightly. My principle is to prefer lack over abuse. I know. Jin Yiyu joined Holy Land of Absolute Beginning for nearly 3 months. Realm has greatly improved, from the Gathering Origin Realm breakthrough to the Purple Mansion Realm. Art of the Jade Empress also completed the 3rd stage. Jade Bone Saint Body has continuously broken through 2 realms, reaching the level of perfection. Art of the Jade Empress is indeed the most suitable cultivation technique for Jade Bone Saint Body cultivation. In just 3 months, I have reached the realm of transformation. Jin Yiyu was deeply moved. If she hadn't joined the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, she wouldn't have entered the realm of perfection. Even Xiao Chungjing doesn't know when it will be completed. Thanks to the holy water of Saint Lord, I can grow so fast. Jin Yiyu looked at the teenagers passing by, and carefully searched for those who seemed to be well qualified, hoping to help Saint Lord recruit a satisfactory disciple. It is located at the corner of the square, and there are fewer disciples passing by. Wang Yi's gaze swept over the young man passing by in front of him. Ma Heng, Qi condensation second stage. Question mark. Constitution, spirit body. Evaluation. The aptitude is too poor, it is not recommended to be accepted as a disciple. With the system, you can get the most intuitive evaluation, and you can directly see the disciple's constitution. More detailed than the test stone. His eyes turned to another person. Question mark. Huang Fei, Qi condensation 5th stage. Question mark. Constitution, royal body. Evaluation. A little bit of qualifications, the training value is not high, it is recommended to give up. Wang Yi shook his head slightly. Neither of these two people could catch his eyes. These two, if discovered by other sects, will definitely cause quite a stir, especially that Huang Fei. But in the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, you don't even have the qualifications to become an anonymous disciple. It's too slow to wait like this. Wang Yi closed his eyes, and his spirit was released from his mind, covering the entire square. Hundreds of thousands of disciples, under his spirit, have nothing to hide. The higher the realm, the stronger the power of the soul, and the larger the area covered. Under Wang Yi's gaze, auxiliary prompts appeared on the heads of each boy. And he eliminated all those with insufficient qualifications. Suddenly, a young man with a weak breath but a very strong will caught his attention. Question mark. Qin Feiyu, body tempering 3rd stage. Question mark. Constitution, supreme sword bone dug out. Introduction. I used to have a supreme sword bone, but was later dug away, and now it is a waste body. If you use Nirvana Dan, you can help it recast the supreme sword bone. After reading the introduction, he shook his head slightly. It's a poor child. Supreme's sword bone was dug out, it should have hurt him a lot. Come to Holy Land of Absolute Beginning to sweep the floor from now on. There is a hint in the introduction, using Nirvana Dan, can help Qin Feiyu recast the supreme sword bone. In this way, it can be regarded as recruiting an apprentice who has a supreme sword bone. The task can be completed. Otherwise, I don't know where to find such a disciple. Let's see if there are any other suitable disciples. Wang Yi searched the crowd again, but couldn't find anyone with a supreme body, so he could only sigh helplessly. Supreme body is too hard to find. Even if there were, they were noticed by many sects and holy cults very early on, and they were recruited away. The next moment, the figure disappeared in place. Among the crowd, there was a young man with a wooden sword hanging from his waist, walking silently among the crowd. The young man's energy and blood are vain, and his body is very thin and weak, as if he could be blown down by a gust of wind. This boy is none other than Qin Feiyu. Beside Qin Feiyu, there is another fellow villager named Lu Jingwei. Lu Jingwei is slightly older than Qin Feiyu, with a burly figure and looks very strong. Feiyu, don't waste your time here. When Lu Jingwei spoke, there was obvious arrogance on his face. With your useless body, there is no sect who can take a fancy to you. Under the mortal body, there is an even worse constitution called the waste body. With this kind of constitution, meridians are blocked, and their blood is empty. If they walk a little far, they will be out of breath. There is no way to cultivate at all. When sect recruits disciples, it will test the qualifications of the disciples. If the qualifications are too poor, they will be directly rejected. Lu Jingwei believes that any sect that tests Qin Feiyu's qualifications will shake his head and refuse. I also want to be a powerful swordsman. Use the sword in my hand to pursue the Tao in my heart. When Qin Feiyu spoke, he was holding the wooden sword hilt, and his eyes were shining with determination. What's the use of having a dream? Lu Jingwei scoffed at this. I don't have qualifications, it's just empty talk. Qin Feiyu was not angry when he heard this. Jingwei, you have a royal body, there must be many sects, and I want to take you as an apprentice. The future achievements will be much better than mine. It can be said that Lu Jingwei is the most qualified person in the village over the years. Many villagers are counting on Lu Jingwei to join the big sect and add luster to the village. That's natural. Lu Jingwei held his head high. I heard that there are 3 holy religions here, and they are accepting disciples here. I'll go to Tianjiao Holy Church to see later. With my aptitude, it's not difficult to join. King physique aptitude, very high potential, is worth cultivating. Holy religion. Qin Feiyu's eyes showed envy when he heard these 2 words. The holy cult is much stronger than the sect, and has a lot of resources and cultivation technique. As long as you have the opportunity to enter, you will definitely become a strong player. At some point, a young man appeared beside the two of them. Seeing Qin Feiyu's firm gaze, Wang Yi nodded slightly. He could feel that this Qin Feiyu's perseverance was very firm. Even if he was a waste body, he was always pursuing the dream of swordsmanship in his heart. If this kind of disciple is recruited into the clan, his future achievements will be extraordinary. Young man, my sect is short of a handyman disciple who cleans the sect every day, would you like to join? Wang Yi asked tentatively. Senior. Qin Feiyu raised his head and looked at Wang Yi. After cleaning the sect, can I learn kendo? Of course. Wang Yi nodded. As long as you complete the daily work, the rest of the time can be allocated by you. Senior. I am willing to join. Qin Feiyu immediately agreed. As long as he has the opportunity to practice swordsmanship, even if he is a handyman disciple, he is willing. Lu Jingwei next to him had a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Feiyu, the identity of this handyman disciple is already a great gift to you. You have to work hard. Maybe you have the opportunity to practice a set of sword technique. Chapter 25 Supreme Sword Bone. People like them from small villages can only practice the cultivation technique of some three-legged cats, and they can't get on the stage. Only by joining sect will you have the opportunity to go further on the road of cultivation. Thank you for your reminder. Qin Feiyu also heard his companion's sarcasm, but didn't pay much attention to it. Over the past 10 years, he was often bullied in the village, and he has long developed a tenacious character. Senior, which sect are you from? I will visit Qin Feiyu when I have a chance in the future. Lu Jingwei asked. Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Wang Yi said casually. This Lu Jingwei had also seen it just now, but because the other party's qualifications were too poor, he wasn't interested at all. Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. It's the place that is about to disappear. Lu Jingwei quickly thought of this force. At first, when he saw this place, he called it a holy place, and thought it was a terrifying force. As a result, after inquiring, I learned that there are only a few people in the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning now, and the resources for cultivation are scarce, and even eating is a problem, let alone cultivation. Feiyu. Lu Jingwei whispered next to Qin Feiyu's ear, I heard that this Holy Land of Absolute Beginning has long since disappeared. There is no inheritance in the Holy Land, and you may have to beg for food to make ends meet. I suggest you don't go to such a place. Qin Feiyu shook his head and said, no. Since I have promised this senior, I must go. In the past few years, I have been to countless sects and hope to join. Even a handyman will do, as long as he can learn the sword technique. As a result, every time I get rejected. There is no chance of joining a sect. You will regret it sooner or later. Lu Jingwei shook his head repeatedly. At the same time, she also suspects that Wang Yi has ulterior motives. Normal sect, who would take a fancy to a crippled person? With a waste body, even cleaning the mountain gate is very difficult. If you do it for a short while, you will be very tired. Follow me. Wang Yi waved his hand, spiritual qi wrapped Qin Feiyu and flew him to the edge of the square. So fast. Qin Feiyu just blinked, and everything around him changed. Unexpectedly, Wang Yi's flying speed can be so fast. Yiyu, this will be your junior from now on. Saint Lord, have you found a suitable disciple? Jin Yiyu was surprised. When he felt Qin Feiyu's breath, he was taken aback for a moment. He seems like a waste. Saint Lord's vision is extremely high, how could he accept a useless body as an apprentice? Is it possible that there is another reason? Waste body, not so. Wang Yi raised the corner of his mouth and smiled faintly, the waste body in the eyes of ordinary people is a treasure in my eyes. Sooner or later, the waste body will shine again. Kui Bao. Jin Yiyu was a little confused. Everyone knows that the meridians of the waste body are blocked, and it is difficult to get rid of the impurities in the body even with the best marrow washing pill. In general, no one is willing to wash the essence and marrow of the waste body. Senior sister. Qin Feiyu's eyes almost went straight when he saw the very hot senior sister. However, he quickly moved his eyes away from the slender thighs and looked at the open space next to him. Wait, why does this senior sister look familiar? It seems to be Jin Yiyu from the Jin family. How did she join the Holy Land? He is an orphan in the village, and he usually picks some mountain products in the mountains and brings them to Jinling City to set up a stall. Over time, he got to know some important figures in Jinling City. Follow me. Wang Yi had already found a suitable person, so he wrapped the two of them in spiritual qi, and with a breath of time, they flew back to the holy land of absolute beginning. Saint Lord, do you want to apprentice now? Qin Feiyu asked. Wait a minute, there is one more important thing to do. Wang Yi planned to recast Qin Feiyu's supreme sword bone, and then worship in the Holy Land to get the reward. Oh, Saint Lord, please speak. How should I put it? Wang Yi sat on the main seat, looking at the slender young man in the Great Hall. Actually, you are not a waste. No way. Qin Feiyu knew that On was very weak since he could remember. Then what constitution do I have? Supreme sword bone. Wang Yi said a few words slowly, which shocked the two people present. What? Supreme sword bone? Jin Yiyu was taken aback suddenly. I checked just now, and his whole body has been blocked by meridians. There is no supreme sword bone at all. Supreme sword bone, a type of supreme body. With this kind of skeleton, constitution will be many times stronger than ordinary people. Absolutely no meridians clogging. He used to own the supreme sword bone, and it must have been dug out by some people who were eager to spy. Wang Yi said slowly. What? Qin Feiyu was completely stunned. I have a supreme sword bone, and someone dug it up. Who did it? The supreme body is also divided into 4 levels. Low level, intermediate, advanced, apex. Supreme sword bone, equivalent to intermediate supreme body. It is a level stronger than jade bone saint body. It is the best constitution for practicing kendo. As long as it appears, it must be the object of competition among the great saint religions and holy places. Probably your former clan. Wang Yi knew that in those big clans, intrigue was very serious. If you have a tyrannical cultivation constitution, you will definitely attract prying eyes from your fellow clansmen. The case of bone digging is not uncommon. Damn it! Qin Feiyu tightly clutched the wooden sword at his waist, piercing his nails into the wooden scabbard. Who the hell dug up my supreme sword bone? He has supreme sword bones, enough to be a peak powerhouse in kendo. But because of the murder of his tribe, he dug away his supreme sword bone. Since then, not only has no relationship with kendo, but also has become a waste body. It can be said that the future prospects are all ruined. It's a pity. Jin Yiyu shook her head regretfully, also feeling sorry for what happened to Qin Feiyu. Saint Lord, you brought Qin Feiyu here, and you want to find the supreme bone for him. She knew that Saint Lord had a very terrifying ability, so there must be some kind of purpose in bringing Qin Feiyu back. No. Wang Yi shook his head slightly, and currently only received a simple reminder from Qin Feiyu. As for who stole the supreme bone, it is not clear. I plan to let him recast the supreme sword bone. What? Jin Yiyu's pretty face was full of shock. Recast the supreme sword bone. This is an extremely difficult thing, far more difficult than finding the supreme sword bone. How can it be done? Saint Lord. Qin Feiyu smiled bitterly, thank you for telling me about my life experience. As for the supreme sword bone, I'll do it myself. It is almost impossible to recast the supreme sword bone. Even those apex forces dare not say that they helped some people recast the supreme sword bone. The cost of consumption is too great. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 26, A Blessing in Misfortune. You don't need to worry about this matter. Wang Yi has the Nirvana Dan, and it is not difficult to recast the supreme sword bone. As long as it is completed, Qin Feiyu will be accepted as a handyman disciple, and the task will be completed. For the mission rewards, I still look forward to it very much. All resources are needed to revive the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Yiyu, back away. Obey. Jin Yiyu saluted and left the Great Hall. Wang Yi flipped his wrist and took out a mahogany brocade box. Open the lid to reveal a white and translucent medicine pill. This is. Qin Feiyu grew up in the village, and had never seen such a big medicine pill, let alone what it was made of. Nirvana Dan. Wang Yi handed over the medicine pill, take it, and I will help you protect the law. The process is painful, you have to hold back. Obey. Qin Feiyu picked up the Nirvana Dan, and swallowed it in the way Wang Yi said, just like eating a steamed bun. As for the pain Wang Yi mentioned, he didn't care at all. As long as he can cultivate the swordsmanship that he pursues in his heart, even if it is a narrow escape, he will rush over without hesitation. The medicine pill entered the belly, and the forceful force of the medicine exploded, scurrying in the meridians. Qin Feiyu felt that his body was about to split open, and there was a severe pain all over his body. However, he gritted his teeth and did not hum. Under the tenacious perseverance, the will is very clear. Wang Yi nodded secretly said, "This Qin Feiyu is determined. As long as he can recast the supreme sword bone, he will definitely become a strong swordsman in the future." The power of Nirvana Dan, scurrying among the meridians of Qin Feiyu. Those closed meridians were slowly opened under the mighty force. Impurities in the body are cleared little by little. A layer of black mud-like impurities emerged on the surface of the skin. At the place where his ribs were, a bone was missing, the base was pale gold, and there was an obvious crack. The former supreme sword bone grew here. When the power of Nirvana Dan eliminates the impurities in the body, all the power gathers at the ribs. Gold rays of light resurfaced at the missing bones, forming phantom ribs. The light is getting brighter and brighter. Qin Feiyu could feel that something in his body seemed to be revived. Wang Yi looked at Qin Feiyu's chest and nodded slightly. Yes, Nirvana Dan is really effective. Time flies, and 7 days have passed in a flash. A gold bone grew out of Qin Feiyu's rib, with light gold lines on it, converging into a sword pattern. Each pattern is formed by a terrifying sword intent. Hundreds of kendo patterns are wrapped around the ribs to form the sword bone. Wang Yi's eyes lit up when he saw the sword bone. I didn't expect it to be a blessing in disguise. This is the 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone. On top of the Supreme Sword Bone, there is also a more uncommon sword bone with higher qualifications. Named 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone. Supreme Sword Bone is a low-level Zun body. 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone, an apex exalted body. Possesses extremely terrifying kendo qualifications. Much stronger than the original Supreme Sword Bone. Qin Feiyu lost his Supreme Sword Bone, but cultivated a tenacious heart and devoted himself to pursuing the way of the sword. When using Nirvana Dan, the tenacious will makes it forge a stronger 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone. It is said that surviving a catastrophe will bring good fortune. The ancients never deceived me. The current Qin Feiyu is only 18 years old. If the Supreme Sword Bone does not disappear, its quality cannot be improved. But now, with the help of Nirvana Dan, the sword bone has been upgraded by 2 levels, which is much stronger than before. Without this catastrophe, it is impossible to achieve such achievements at this age. Qin Feiyu opened his eyes, raised his hand, and clearly felt a sense of strength in his body. The wooden sword hanging around his waist automatically unsheathed and flew around his body. He reached out and grabbed the wooden sword in his hand, and pointed towards the outside of the great hall. Whoosh! A white sword chi roared out, pierced hundreds of feet, and pierced gold's barrier. It's done. I can cast sword chi. It never occurred to him that one day his own waste body could be turned into a terrifying swordsman body. Thank you, Saint Lord. Qin Feiyu knelt on the ground and kowtowed 9 times to Wang Yi. Without you, I would still be a useless body now. Wang Yi smiled lightly. What you have now is not a supreme sword bone, but a 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone. What? Qin Feiyu was filled with intense joy, and almost passed out from happiness. A supreme sword bone is enough for him. Unexpectedly, what I have now is not the supreme sword bone, but the 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone. With this kendo qualification, future achievements will be even more extraordinary. Your experience over the years, when recasting the sword bone, condensed the 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone. Wang Yi put his hands behind his back, his voice was ethereal. In the future, remember not to be blinded by hatred. Saint Lord, don't worry. Qin Feiyu raised his head, his eyes gleaming with brilliance. I won't hate those who dig out my supreme sword bone, but I will thank them. It's these people who let me grow up and pursue the broader avenue of the sword. Wang Yi nodded secretly. This Qin Feiyu has a very good heart, which is very admirable. Since you already have the 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone, you can enter the Holy Land now. Listen to the Saint Lord. Qin Feiyu knelt on the ground, looking like he was being slaughtered. You go to take a bath and change clothes first, and then come to the Hall of Absolute Beginning. Wang Yi looked at Qin Feiyu, who looked like a mud monkey, and shook his head slightly. Nirvana Dan, remove all impurities from his body. The current body can be called the body of innocence, which is very suitable for cultivation. Obey. After Qin Feiyu went to the foot of the mountain to wash, he returned to the hall of Taichu and performed the ceremony of entering the hall. Wang Yi said, "Now, you are the handyman disciple of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Your daily job is to clean the Holy Land. Obey." Qin Feiyu didn't complain at all. Follow the Saint Lord's order. Saint Lord gave him a second life. Even if he went to dig out dung every day and do the hardest and most tiring work, he would do it without complaint. It can also be said that his life will belong to the Saint Lord in the future. A reminder sounded in Wang Yi's mind. Ding! You accepted Qin Feiyu as a handyman disciple and cleaned the mountain gate. The aptitude meets the character requirements. Reward: Palace of 10,000 Swords. Divine Sect large gift bag. Finally finished. System: open large gift bag. Ding! You opened the Divine Sect large gift bag and got the reward, Wanjian Emperor Bone. Seeing the word Emperor Bone, Wang Yi's eyes lit up suddenly. What? It turned out to be an Emperor Bone. This reward is great. On top of the Supreme Body, there is a more uncommon constitution, called the Emperor Body. Those who have the Imperial Body will surely become the Great Emperor. Chapter 27: Choosing a Sword Technique. Consciousness enters the system world. On the open grass, there is a gold bone floating. On the bones, there are fine lines of kendo, which converge into a totem of kendo. Wang Yi could feel that on this sword bone, there was a very terrifying aura of swordsmanship. Wanjian Emperor Bone, after fusion, can control the ultimate power of the sword, allowing you to go further on the sword. If I fuse this Kendo Emperor Bone, it will be very easy to practice Kendo in the future. Although Wang Yi became an emperor, he was still a mortal body without any cultivation qualifications. Looking at those cultivation techniques, you will feel dizzy and difficult to insight. In this case, it is tantamount to having a powerful constitution, but unable to bring it into play. Only by obtaining a tyrannical constitution can one go further along the way of cultivation. Wang Yi is now the realm of Yi. Ever since he became emperor, he tried to cultivate every day, but it was difficult for realm to make progress. Or because of poor qualifications. Ascension to the Great Emperor realm once is tantamount to counterproductive. My qualifications are too poor, and realm has been promoted too fast, resulting in an unstable foundation. It will be difficult to improve in the future. Great Emperor realm, also divided into first stage to ninth stage, and then apex. Wang Yi's strength is above that of Yi. If the aptitude cannot be improved, the realm will not be able to continue to be improved in the future, and will be trapped at this level forever. Possessing this 10,000 Swords Emperor Bone, Wang Yi's Kendo aptitude will be in place in one step. In the future, you can also embark on a path of Kendo Apex. We will fuse this Wanjian Emperor Bone later. Next to the Emperor's Bone, there is a magnificent sword palace. It exudes a terrifying Kendo atmosphere. Consciousness entered the sword palace, and after a little exploration, his eyes were full of joy. Emperor rank. In this sword palace, all the long swords are Emperor rank. As expected of the Primordial Divine Sect system, the price is generous. The palace of 10,000 swords can only be built with 10,000 long swords. Among them, the minimum requirement for swords must be the treasure rank. On top of treasures, there are several more uncommon weapons. King rank, Imperial rank, Emperor rank. The Emperor sword is extremely sharp, and if it is used to cast the sword technique, it can explode with terrifying power. Usually, in those holy places, the number of Emperor swords is not too many, that is, the number of people in one hand. The current Holy Land of Absolute Beginning already possesses tens of thousands of Emperor swords. Even if the strength of the sect disciples is not too strong, each of them can burst out with extremely terrifying strength with an Emperor sword. With these Emperor swords, no matter how many Kendo disciples we recruit in the future, it will be enough. Holy Land of Absolute Beginning has 36 peaks, among which there is a Tianjiao peak, which is used to teach Kendo disciples on weekdays. This palace of 10,000 swords is located on Tianjiao peak. Sooner or later, Tianjiao peak will be restored to its former glory. Wang Yi had an idea and arranged the palace of 10,000 swords on the top of Tianjiao Peak. A terrifying kendo breath soared into the sky, transforming into a huge sword in the air. Under the giant sword, the sky was directly pierced with a huge hole. The Holy Land of Absolute Beginning is guarded by a temple. Such a terrifying vision was not discovered by the outside world, but it stunned the 3 disciples in the sect. Qin Feiyu gazed through the door of the great hall, looking at the giant sword in the sky, his body trembling. What a terrible sword intent! How did it come together? It can be felt that on that lonely peak, more and more sword intents gather. If one were to practice kendo there, the speed of improvement must be extremely fast. Wang Yi returned to the real world consciously, and a reminder sounded in his mind. Ding! New mission. Now that you have recruited 2 handyman disciples, the sect is finally populated. Next, recruit an Outer Sect disciple. Reward: 8 Desolation Emperor Body. Divine Sect large gift bag. Ding! The task requires that the disciple's aptitude is Emperor Body. The time limit is half a year. Reward the 8 Desolation Emperor Body. Wang Yi's eyes lit up instantly. This is a good thing. The imperial body is a kind of constitution above the respected body. It is even more uncommon in the cultivation world, and its qualifications can be called terrifying. If you can have an imperial body, you can definitely achieve the Great Emperor realm. Wang Yi now has the strength of a great emperor, what he lacks is a constitution worthy of him. This imperial body is the most suitable. After owning it, qualifications will no longer be a stumbling block for him. The emperor's body and the emperor's bone will not affect each other, but will superimpose on each other, erupting a more terrifying effect. Nowadays, there are quite a few so-called great emperor powerhouses who possess a type of emperor rank constitution and several types of uncommon emperor bones. First integrate the 10,000 swords emperor bone, and then fuse this emperor body. My aptitude is enough to stand firm among the great emperor powerhouses. In Wang Yi's heart, he was looking forward to this imperial body. The mission requires that a disciple with an imperial body must be recruited. Where is this going to look for? The Zun body is already very uncommon, and the emperor body is even more difficult to find. In the entire Hangzhou, there should not be a single emperor body. The imperial body, within the primordial Divine Sect, is only qualified to be a disciple of the Outer Sect. Wang Yi smiled bitterly. What kind of aptitude does it have to be a disciple of the Inner Sect? What qualifications are qualified to become a core disciple? As a personal disciple, how terrifying is the aptitude? If they develop according to this requirement, the strength of the disciples in the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning must be terrifying. No force can compare with it. Qin Feiyu, now that you are a handyman disciple, this deity will give you a set of sword technique and a sword for self-defense for the sake of your first entry into the Holy Land. Thank you Saint Lord for the gift. Qin Feiyu looked very excited. What he dreams of is to be able to cultivate advanced sword technique. Now, after coming to the Holy Land, I finally got my wish. As for the rank of the sword technique he cultivated, he didn't care too much about it. This is Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. No matter how bad sword technique is, it will be higher than mortal rank, right? Knowing that his status is low, he is content to have a set of spirit rank sword technique. You come with me. Wang Yi took Qin Feiyu to the Wanwan Library in the back mountain. Qin Feiyu raised his head and looked at the giant tower as high as hundreds of feet, with a bright light in his eyes. Secretly said, "This tower is so tall, there are 10 floors. It must be that each floor is upgraded, the better the cultivation technique stored. Cultivation technique has 7 ranks: mortal rank, spirit rank, mysterious rank, heavenly rank, king rank, imperial rank, emperor rank. Under normal circumstances, the lowest level is the mortal rank cultivation technique." Wang Yi put his hands behind his back, and said slowly, "You are new to kendo, just choose a set of sword technique on the first floor." First floor. Qin Feiyu took a deep breath, not daring to disobey the slightest thought in his heart. Follow orders. This second life was given by Saint Lord. Even if the Saint Lord asked him to practice mortal rank low rank cultivation technique, he had no complaints. Moreover, according to his guess, the bottom layer, cultivation technique, should be mortal rank or spirit rank. Handyman disciples are only qualified to practice this kind of cultivation technique. Chapter 28 Palace of 10,000 Swords. Wang Yi opened the door of the Wanwan Library, led Qin Feiyu into the first floor, and walked towards the corner on one side. There is a row of 3 bookshelves in total. On the 3 bookshelves, there are all sword techniques. You can choose one to practice. Qin Feiyu walked into the library, feeling a vast atmosphere here, making it very difficult to breathe. What grade is the cultivation technique here? He dared not look up without the Saint Lord's permission. There should be 300 copies of Cultivation Technique on these 3 bookshelves, right? Let me take a look. From the bookshelf on the far left, I picked up a thick ancient book. The hand was very heavy, and there was an aura of swordsmanship hidden in the ancient book. Sky-splitting sword technique. Opening the book, the vast and boundless aura of swordsmanship rushed towards his face, almost knocking Qin Feiyu over. His consciousness was brought into a world of kendo by this book. An old man, holding a long sword, slashed at the sky. Click. The 1,000-foot-long gold sword chi cut a huge crack in the sky. On the other side, is the dark chaotic world, which seems to be able to swallow the world. Terrible. Qin Feiyu's bright eyes were trembling violently. What kind of sword technique is it that can split the sky? Consciousness returned to reality. Qin Feiyu looked towards Wang Yi. Saint Lord, what is the level of this sword technique? Feiyu's eyesight is clumsy, he can't recognize it. With his hands behind his back, Wang Yi said in a flat tone, it's just a set of Emperor rank cultivation technique. Emperor rank cultivation technique. Qin Feiyu was stunned, it's just a return. Unexpectedly, Saint Lord can say this sentence without caring. Just like this set of cultivation technique, it is worthless at all. Pointing to the 3 bookshelves, Wang Yi said calmly, these 3 bookshelves are all Emperor rank sword technique. The grade is not very high, it's all low grade. Qin Feiyu's jaw almost hit the ground, he twisted his neck stiffly, and stared blankly at the 3 tall bookshelves. 3 bookshelves, all of them are Emperor rank. Hiss hiss. Emperor rank low rank is not high. 3 bookshelves, but there are 300 sword technique. Each is a word of Emperor rank. It is the 300 this Emperor level sword technique. It is estimated that there are not so many Emperor rank sword techniques in the entire Qianlong continent. In Wang Yi's eyes, these Emperor rank sword techniques are worthless. Saint Lord, can I choose these? Emperor rank sword technique. Qin Feiyu stuttered when he spoke. Well, pick at will. Wang Yi responded. But I'm just a handyman disciple. It doesn't matter. Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, the standard equipment for handyman disciples is Emperor rank. Oh my god. Qin Feiyu was completely dumbfounded. What the hell is this sect? Handyman disciples can all learn the precious Emperor rank sword technique. In another holy place, even the Holy Sun wouldn't be able to receive such good treatment, right? Next, Qin Feiyu selected the 3 bookshelves for a long time. He was dazzled by various Emperor rank sword techniques, and he didn't know how to choose for a while. Saint Lord, so many sword techniques, which one should the disciple choose? After Wang Yi thought for a while, he picked up a book from the shelf and handed it over. You have just practiced, choosing this book will be of great benefit to your future growth. Qin Feiyu took the book and looked at the writing on the front. Slaying the sky and drawing the sword. Wang Yi continued. This sword technique has very simple moves, and it is the most basic sword drawing style in sword technique. If you can practice the sword drawing pose well, it means laying a solid foundation. Future achievements will be even higher. Qin Feiyu nodded immediately. What Saint Lord said is true, since that's the case, then I will choose this heaven-severing sword technique. Yeah. Wang Yi took Qin Feiyu and walked out. Now, I will take you to Tianjian Peak and choose a saber there. Seen from a distance, Tianjian Peak looks like a huge sword standing on the ground, and the mountain is surrounded by powerful sword chi. The Palace of 10,000 Swords is located on the back mountain of Tianjian Peak. The palace is circular in shape with a diameter of about 100 feet. A series of tyrannical sword chi, surrounding the Palace of 10,000 Swords, sometimes converging into a small sword, displaying a tyrannical sword technique. Qin Feiyu came to the outside of the Palace of 10,000 Swords, looked at the strong sword chi, and was a little dumbfounded. What a scary sword chi. Could it be that there are many swords hidden in this great hall? He was new to cultivation, so naturally he didn't know about the sword palace. Wang Yi introduced. This palace, named Palace of 10,000 Swords, contains tens of thousands of swords. 10,000 swords. Qin Feiyu was stunned. Regardless of the rank of these swords, the quantity alone is extremely astonishing. Wang Yi stood at the gate of the Palace of 10,000 Swords and did not let Qin Feiyu in. Your current realm is too low to enter the Palace of 10,000 Swords. Just wait here, I'll get you a sword. With that said, he opened the gate of the palace. The door only opened a corner, and the terrifying sword Qi rushed out from the great hall. Qin Feiyu felt an extremely terrifying breath of swordsmanship rushing toward his face. There is a feeling of facing death directly, as if the breath of the sword, casual touch, will make him die. Terrible. These sword Qi emitted are just the tip of the iceberg of the Palace of 10,000 Swords, which is so terrifying. Entering it, with his small body, it is estimated that he will die under the vast sword Qi in an instant. Wang Yi walked into the Palace of 10,000 Swords. The palace was in the shape of a circle, and there were circular sword stands on the ground. Each sword stand was about a foot long, and an emperor sword was stuck on it. Standing on the edge, you can't see the end of the palace at a glance, and the emperor's sword is densely packed. The closer the position is to the core, the larger the diameter of the sword platform, and the stronger the aura of the inserted emperor's sword. Wang Yi walked towards the middle along the path between the sword platforms. While walking, he observed the emperor's sword on the sword platform. 3,000 low-grade emperor swords. 3,000 middle-grade emperor swords. 3,000 high-grade emperor swords. 1,000 top-grade emperor swords. Together, that's 10,000 handles. With so many emperor swords, it is absolutely possible to cultivate a large number of strong swordsmen, forming a very terrifying force. In the center of the sword palace, there is a circular altar. In the middle floats a bright white light group, flickering on and off, as if breathing. The tens of thousands of sword platforms next to them released sword Qi one after another, converging towards the white light cluster. It can be felt that after absorbing those sword Qi, the white light group is growing stronger. This is good stuff. Sword embryo? Sword embryo, formed by absorbing sword Qi. The more sword Qi absorbed, the faster the condensing speed. After sword embryo is formed, it can be integrated with the body to create the strongest sword body. I never thought that this palace of 10,000 swords could condense such an uncommon treasure. The reason why the major kendo forces establish the sword palace is because the sword palace can gather sword Qi to help sword practitioners practice kendo. The second is because sword embryo can be formed after sword Qi converges. Chapter 29 Great Emperor Sword Bone. This sword embryo, after fusion, can become an imperial body. The imperial body is the most powerful cultivation constitution in the world. As long as you have it, you will definitely become an emperor in the future. Moreover, the emperor sword embryo can also fuse with the sword bone, allowing it to undergo qualitative changes and become a stronger constitution. Wang Yi has obtained a 10,000 sword emperor bone, which will be fused later. If this sword embryo is fused again, Wanjian emperor bone and sword embryo can be completely fused together, and then the essence will undergo a qualitative change. Let the quality of the two be improved again. At that time, Wang Yi's kendo aptitude will be extremely terrifying. This sword embryo has just been formed, and it will take some time before it takes shape. The Palace of 10,000 Swords was just obtained, because the kendo breath is very strong, forming a sword embryo. Continue to absorb sword Qi, sword embryo can slowly form. To finally be in the shape of a baby is to be completely healed. Since the swords here are all emperor rank, sword Qi is very rich, and sword embryo will take shape very quickly. However, it also takes a certain amount of time. Wang Yi walked to the outskirts of the sword palace, and among the many emperor swords, he chose a low-grade emperor sword. Then, leaving the palace, I saw Qin Feiyu waiting outside with piercing pupils. Feiyu, this sword is for you. Qin Feiyu quickly reached out and grabbed the flying scabbard in his hand. Zheng. The long sword was unsheathed, and a soft moan sounded. What caught his eye was a long sword that looked extremely sharp, light blue in color. Good sword. Qin Feiyu could feel that this sword was much better than the wooden sword he used. Saint Lord, what grade is this sword? Why can't I feel it? The stronger the breath on the sword, the higher the sword's grade. Wang Yi said slowly, this sword is called Tianjiao Emperor Sword. It's emperor rank itself, but it can hide its own aura. Outsiders can't feel the true rank of this sword from the breath on the sword. As your realm increases, the power of this sword will also become stronger. The Emperor sword is extremely precious. If it is not strong enough, holding it in your hands is asking for trouble. This sword is most suitable for the current Qin Feiyu to use. Emperor, this sword is also Emperor rank. Qin Feiyu felt that everyone was stupid. Am I not a handyman disciple? With this identity, can you also get Emperor rank weapons? In other holy places, the Holy Sun may not be able to obtain the Emperor sword to use. In this holy land of absolute beginning, the handyman disciples have the Emperor sword to use. If other people knew about this, wouldn't they break through the mountain gate of the holy land of absolute beginning and scramble to join the holy land? Saint Lord, isn't the Tianjiao Emperor sword too precious? Qin Feiyu gulped. I think, just give me a spirit sword. When he joined the Holy Land, he really didn't have much illusions. A spirit sword is enough. Spirit sword. Wang Yi chuckled. Holy Land of absolute beginning, the worst thing is the Emperor's sword. Bang! Qin Feiyu fell directly to the ground, completely dumbfounded. The worst is the Emperor's sword. What kind of power is this? It's too scary. Okay. This is tens of thousands of times stronger than the Holy Land forces, he thought. Wang Yi continued. The sword technique you chose is the technique of cutting the sky and drawing the sword. Practicing drawing the sword is something you have to do every day. Every day, you have to clean the Holy Land for 6 hours, and the rest of the time can be used to practice sword technique or sleep. Obey. Qin Feiyu cupped fist with both hands. This disciple will definitely clean up the Holy Land. I also vowed in my heart that no matter what, I must do my duty as a handyman disciple, so as not to displease the Saint Lord. Wang Yi continued. As a handyman disciple, you can practice in the practice field for half an hour every day. If you have any questions, you can go to the foot of the mountain and ask your senior sister. Thank you, Saint Lord, for reminding. Disciple leave. Qin Feiyu left respectfully. The holy mountain of absolute beginning. Wang Yi took out the bone of Emperor Wanjian in the bedroom of the temple. Fuse this Emperor bone first. With the Great Emperor realm, his physical body is extremely terrifying, and it is very easy to fuse the Emperor bone. Gold's imperial bone, attached to the skin of the chest cavity, directly penetrated the skin, and slowly fused with the original rib. Emperor Gu released a terrifying breath, wanting to flee away. With a thought, Wang Yi unleashed a strong force, which restrained the Emperor bone, making it unable to move at all. The fusion process of the Emperor bone is not simple. If it is not for the Great Emperor realm, it will definitely take a lot of effort. The fusion process took a full 10 days before it was completely completed. His body trembled slightly, and a vast and boundless aura of swordsmanship came from the sword bone in his chest. The tyrannical sword chi rampages in the body, making the meridians in the body stronger and stronger. Wang Yi felt that under these sword chi, his body became very light. His own cultivation aptitude has become stronger and stronger. In my mind, it seemed as if a door had been opened, and many kendos that had been impossible to gain insight became clear. If you give him another copy of sword technique, he will definitely be able to get his insight soon. The whole process lasted half a day. After the sword bone was completely fused with the body, a layer of dirt appeared on the surface of the skin. These are the impurities hidden in the body. Even if it is a breakthrough to the Great Emperor environment, these dirts have not been eradicated. Now, merging the sword bone has qualitatively sublimated the body's aptitude. A kendo door opened in my mind. In the future, insight kendo will be very easy. Wang Yi opened his eyes, and an extremely sharp long sword emerged from his pupils. The terrifying sword chi soared into the sky. Swish. Sword chi condenses a gigantic sword that has grown to 1,000 feet in the air, and the surroundings are filled with terrifying kendo coercion. The 3 disciples in the Holy Land were all stunned when they saw the huge sword. Especially Qin Feiyu felt the strongest. Looking up at the giant sword, he knelt down on the ground with a thud. What a terrifying kendo aura. Hundreds of thousands of times stronger than my 10,000 path venerable sword bone. Is this the Saint Lord's kendo qualification? Terrible. The 10,000 path venerable sword bone was originally the most powerful existence in the Zun body. However, under the breath of this giant sword, he is as weak as an ant. It's hard to imagine how terrifying the swordsmanship aptitude Saint Lord has. At the mountain gate, Jin Yiyu looked up at the 1,000-foot-long giant sword, her eyes trembling violently like a pool of water. Very scary. Is this the true power of the Saint Lord? She knew that Saint Lord's strength was extremely terrifying. I thought that Saint Lord was a strong man who cultivated his body. He never expected that he would be so strong in swordsmanship. Holy Mountain. Feeling the change in his own qualifications, Wang Yi had a look of joy in his eyes. Sure enough, only after possessing a tyrannical aptitude can one truly step into the realm of cultivation. Chapter 30 Pavilion of Celestial Secrets. Wang Yi enjoyed this feeling of overbearing aptitude. The Wanjian Emperor Bone is just the intermediate Emperor Bone. On top of that, there are Advanced and Apex. Every time you upgrade to a level, your swordsmanship comprehension will be greatly improved. The level of aptitude affects future kendo achievements. Also affects sword technique insight speed. Same set of Emperor rank sword technique. It may take 10 years to have a mid-rank Emperor Bone, and possibly insight. For high-rank Emperor GU, the time for insight is only 6 or 7 years. The top-grade Emperor Bone only takes 2 or 3 years. The gap is obvious. If the sword embryo is formed and fused with the Wanjian Emperor Bone, it will definitely make the Wanjian Emperor Bone qualitatively sublimate. I just don't know when sword embryo will be fully formed. Fortunately, the Palace of 10,000 Swords has a huge number of Emperor swords, and the speed of condensing sword chi is very fast, and the time for sword embryo to form will not be too long. Wang Yi stood on the roof of the Hall of Taichu, with his hands behind his back, looking at the majestic mountains and rivers in front of him, with great pride in his heart. One day, let this holy land of absolute beginning return to its former glory. Let this holy land of absolute beginning become the strongest force in the world. Next, what he thought about was where to find a person with an imperial body and accept him as an apprentice. The emperor's body is hard to find. In my impression, I have never heard of any. By the way, go to the Pavilion of Celestial Secrets to find out. There is a mysterious faction in Hangzhou called Pavilion of Celestial Secrets. The old man of Celestial Secrets inside is familiar with the arrogant figures of various forces. If you go there and ask, maybe you can find the target. Wang Yi stepped into the void and flew towards the Pavilion of Celestial Secrets. In just a few breaths, he came to the front of a tall giant tower. The Pavilion of Celestial Secrets is divided into 10 floors in total. The topmost floor is the observatory, where you can watch the stars at night and deduce celestial secrets. At this time, it was nightfall. The half-crescent moon hangs in the sky, and the galaxy cluster is dotted with the dark night sky, which has a sense of grandeur. The old man of Celestial Secrets was sitting on the observatory, holding a cup of tea in his hand, and took a sip. Suddenly, the old man of Celestial Secrets felt that there was a very terrifying fluctuation on the back side of the Celestial Secrets tower, and he hurriedly turned his head to look. This fellow Taoist, please. The old man of Celestial Secrets put one hand behind his back, pointed to the observatory with the other, and made a gesture of invitation. Wang Yi smiled lightly, tiptoed, and landed on the wooden floor of the observatory. I've heard for a long time that Celestial Secrets is very hospitable. I saw you today, and it's just as the rumors say. The old man stroked his goatee, chuckled a few times, then picked up the teapot, and poured a cup of tea for Wang Yi himself. Wild tea in the mountains, I hope the fellow Taoist will not be offended. Wang Yi picked up the Celadon teacup and took a sip. The green tea enters the mouth, and the aftertaste is sweet. It's an honor for Junior to have such sweet tea. Seeing the politeness of the other party, Wang Yi also spoke politely. The two drank a cup of tea each, and the old man from Celestial Secrets raised his white eyebrows and asked, I don't know what the fellow Taoist is here for. With his strength, it is impossible to figure out Wang Yi's true strength, so he guessed that this young man is definitely a strong man. Has a very terrifying strength. Therefore, if you entertain the other party with tea, you should speak politely. Wang Yi said straight to the point, I'm here this time to find out something. But it's okay to say. Do you know where there are people with the qualifications of the imperial body? Emperor body. The old man of Celestial Secrets paused slightly, and put the teacup on the stone table. To be honest, the emperor body is extremely uncommon. In this Hangzhou, it can be said that there is almost no What if we leave Hangzhou? Wang Yi asked again. Qianlong continent is vast and boundless, with tens of thousands of states. Hangzhou is only at the corner of the mainland, and the spiritual qi it has is also average. The overall strength is at the bottom of tens of thousands of states. The more outstanding a place is, the more talented people will appear. The elder celestial secrets looked to the north side, and said slowly, "Go north from here, after 100,000 miles, you will be the Qingzhou territory. There is a peach blossom valley there, and there is a woman with the qualifications of the emperor, named Lu Yanran." Wang Yi's eyes lit up. 100,000 miles is not far. With his footsteps, that is, hundreds of breaths, he can get there. Once back and forth, it doesn't take the time for a cup of tea. The Great Emperor is a strong man with a strong ability to fly in the flesh. This Lu Yanran, what constitution is it? Extreme Alchemy Emperor body. It's uncommon. Wang Yi recently found several books in the Wanwan library that recorded various constitution, heavenly and mortal treasures. When I was free, I flipped through it and learned a lot of things that I didn't understand before. The extremely alchemy emperor body is born good at pill refining. A sect, if there is a strong medicine pill refiner, the future sect's medicine pill will definitely not have to worry about it. Although Wang Yi has a system, it is impossible to obtain resources at will, there is a certain amount. Now there are fewer people in the Holy Land, and resources are easy to allocate. But if there are too many people, the number of medicine pills needed is astronomical. Wang Yi nodded slightly. If you can recruit this Lu Yanran to the sect and train her well, then you don't have to worry about the medicine pill. The previous Holy Land of Absolute Beginning also had a Wandan Peak, which was responsible for refining medicine pill. It can be said that the development and growth of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning is inseparable from Wandan Peak. In the future, Wang Yi will definitely make this Wandan Peak regain its glory. The old man from Celestial Secrets shook his head and said, "Peach Blossom Valley is not easy, and that Lu Yanran is not easy to recruit. Even if you go, you will probably return empty-handed." Wang Yi raised his head and asked seriously, "Can you tell me about the Peach Blossom Valley?" Of course. The old man picked up his teacup, blew away the floating tea leaves, and took a sip. The owner of Peach Blossom Valley, named Lu Choyan, is extremely powerful and possesses a venerable state. When talking about the venerable environment, the old man from Celestial Secrets stared at Wang Yi's expression, trying to get some clues from his face. If Wang Yi showed surprise, he must not be as strong as Lu Choyan. As a result, Wang Yi didn't see any changes on his face, and he remained calm. Secretly said, "This young man doesn't change his face when he hears venerable, his strength must be much stronger than venerable. What the hell is realm?" The person in front of him looks very young, and has strength beyond the venerable realm, which is really terrifying. Wang Yi nodded and said, "The venerable realm is reasonable, and then what? What strength is there?" The old man of Celestial Secrets said, "In addition, Peach Blossom Valley also has a very strong formation, which is made of peach trees. Anyone who forcibly breaks in will definitely get lost in the formation." Phantom Array. Wang Yi has not practiced formation yet, so he doesn't know much about the situation inside. However, there is a saying that one force will drop 10 meetings. I believe this formation will not trouble him. Check out our playlist for more amazing novels. Chapter 31 Practice Sword Technique. The Elder Celestial Secrets was still watching Wang Yi. Seeing that when he heard the formation, he still looked like Gujing had no waves, so he couldn't help admiring. This young man is really not simple. Many sects and holy places have been to the Peach Blossom Valley. I hope Lu Yanran can join the faction. The conditions proposed are also very attractive, such as joining the Holy Land, directly obtaining the title of Saintess, obtaining the imperial rank, pill refining cultivation technique, and so on. But it was still rejected by Lu Choyan. Wang Yi nodded slightly, and said, "It should be those sects and holy places, the conditions given are not attractive enough. That's why Peach Blossom Valley refuses." The old man of Celestial Secrets agreed. "You are right. Lu Choyan has always wanted to train Lu Yanran to be a peak powerhouse in the pill refining world, and also wanted to keep her in Peach Blossom Valley, so he rejected those people. If you go, you probably won't be able to take Lu Yanran away. Thank you for reminding me." Wang Yi can only think of a way to try to attract Lu Yanran. It is best to ask the other party to agree. There is no need to forcefully bring people back to sect. As the saying goes, twisted melons are not sweet. By the way, the old man of celestial secrets remembered an important thing: Peach Blossom Valley will only open once every other month. If you want to visit, you can only do so on the 15th day of next month. That's April 15th. Wang Yi roughly calculated. Now it's March 18th, and there will be nearly a month before Peach Blossom Valley will open. Fortunately, the time is not too long. If Lu Yanran cannot be brought here, there is still enough time to find someone else. The matter of accepting apprentices is your wish. If the other party does not want to join the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning at all, there is no need to force it. The whole heart is in Cao Ying and the body is in the Han Dynasty, which is of no benefit to the development of the Holy Land. Jin Ling City, the Jin family. Patriarch Jin Shikai stood in the courtyard, looking in the direction of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, with a look of worry in his eyes. It's been 3 months. I don't know how Yiyu went to the Holy Land, how she is doing. Beside him, there was a gray-bearded old man, the elder of the Jin family, named Jin Wu. Patriarch, why don't we go to the Holy Land to see? This Holy Land of Absolute Beginning has long since lost its inheritance, and I don't know what the current situation is like. What if that young man deceived us under the guise of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning? Wouldn't it be bad? These people knew that the situation in Holy Land of Absolute Beginning was very bad, and they were also worried about Jin Yiyu's situation. You're right. Jin Shikai nodded. I agreed with Yiyu to join the Holy Land when I saw that young man's strength. I really don't understand the rest of the situation. At this moment, a clansman hurried into the yard and said to the clan leader. Patriarch, people from the 8 Desolation Sacred Cult are here. Oops. Several drops of cold sweat came out of Jin Shikai's forehead. You go and invite people from the Holy Cult first. Before, many forces came to the Jin family, hoping to attract Jin Yiyu. Although the power of the 8 Desolation Sacred Cult is not as good as the Holy Land, it is located in Hangzhou, not too far from the Jin family. It will be relatively convenient to visit Jin Yiyu in the future. Moreover, the power of the 8 Desolation Sacred Religion has a great influence in Hangzhou. If Jin Yiyu joins and gets the title of saint, she will also be able to protect the Jin family in the future. Sooner or later, the Jin family will be able to secure its position as the #1 family in Jinling City, and no clan will be able to shake it. As a result, the strong man came. Jin Shikai chose to let Jin Yiyu join the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning because of the opponent's strength. I actually forgot about the 8 Desolation Sacred Religion. Reception Hall. Jin Shikai sat on the main seat, his back was soaked in cold sweat. Next to him, sat a burly man with muscles all over his body. This person is a peak leader of the 8 Desolation Sacred Cult, named Meng Soaring Dragon. Meng Soaring Dragon took a sip of tea, looked around, and said in a rough voice, Patriarch Jin, why didn't you see Jin Yiyu? I'm here this time because I intend to take her to the Holy Church to learn from her teacher. The leader has already discussed with all the elders, and agreed to let Jin Yiyu pass, and he can be made a saint directly. Jin Shikai forced a smile on his face, and said, Peak Master Soaring Dragon, I'm really sorry, Jin Yiyu has already joined another faction. Boom. Meng Soaring Dragon slammed the table and stood up abruptly, his face full of anger. What did you say? Has Jin Yiyu joined other forces? Speak clearly to me. In the past 2 or 3 years, every few months, he would come to Jin's house, bring good gifts, and hope to accept Jin Yiyu as an apprentice. 3 months ago, Jin Shikai finally let go, and most likely agreed to let Jin Yiyu join. This brought better conditions, allowing Jin Yiyu to become a saint directly, just waiting for Jin Shi to nod her head in agreement. Who would have thought that they would join other forces? Quiet your anger, calm your anger. Jin Shikai bowed his head and stayed with him. I have no choice but to do this. 3 months ago, a strong man came from the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, and his strength was extremely powerful. Our Jin family can't compete with that person at all, so let that man take Jin Yiyu away. Meng Soaring Dragon was completely furious. What a Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. How dare you compete with our 8 Desolation Sacred Sect for disciples? I think you are tired of living crooked. Today, I will flatten the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. He knew the situation of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, and there had been no strong players in 10,000 years, so he didn't take it seriously. Jin Shikai's head is getting bigger. The two forces competed, and the unlucky one was the Jin family. If you choose one, you will offend the other. Soaring Dragon Peak Lord, calm down. How do you make me calm down about this matter? Meng Soaring Dragon walked towards the courtyard, turned around halfway. Jin Shikai, you go with me. You must bring Jin Yiyu back. Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. At night, the crickets hid in the grass and squeaked. In an open space at the foot of the mountain, a young man held a green sword and pulled it out of the scabbard time and time again. Then, put it back into the scabbard. That's how he practiced drawing his sword. Clank clank. The boy's movements became more and more proficient, and the speed of drawing his sword became faster and faster. After Qin Feiyu recast the 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone, his kendo qualification has been greatly improved. During the 6 hours during the day, I clean every corner of the Holy Land, and practice sword drawing for 5 hours at night. Leave only 1 hour to sleep. Every day, the speed of drawing the sword will be much faster, which can be described as rapid progress. At a certain moment, Qin Feiyu closed his eyes, held his breath, opened them suddenly, and a strong sword intent flashed in his pupils. Jung. The long sword was unsheathed, and the cold light flashed under the night sky, illuminating the nearby woods with a glimmer of light. Drawing the sword this time was much stronger than any previous one. It's done. There was joy in Qin Feiyu's eyes. My sky slashing and sword drawing technique has been cultivated to a small realm. Chapter 32, The Real Heaven Slashing and Sword Drawing Technique. The technique of Zantian drawing sword is very simple, only drawing sword style. The faster the sword is drawn, the stronger the sword technique will be. In more than 10 days, Qin Feiyu was able to practice this sword technique to a small degree, and most of the credit was due to the 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone. Another part is his perseverance. The determination to pursue kendo. Qin Feiyu practiced the sword technique to a small degree, and did not stop, and continued to practice drawing the sword. Jung. In the blink of an eye, half the night passed. For some reason, Qin Feiyu didn't improve his sword drawing skills at all. What happened? After Shaocheng, it is difficult to improve the sword drawing skill again. Could it be because the cultivation method is wrong? Before practicing, every day, the improvement rate is very large. Now, in the past day, there has been no progress, which makes Qin Feiyu think that there should be something wrong. Saint Lord's swordsmanship is so strong, he should know more than me. Maybe you can ask him, you can get help. I'm just a handyman disciple, can I get advice from Saint Lord? Qin Feiyu decided that after sweeping the floor tomorrow, he would go to the Holy Mountain to have a look, and it would be best if he could get advice from the Saint Lord. Hall of Absolute Beginning. In the morning, Wang Yi woke up and heard a reminder in his head. Ding! Your disciple has practiced the sky slashing and drawing sword technique, and has reached the initiation realm. You have obtained the sky slashing and drawing sword technique, reaching the pinnacle of proficiency. Streams of experiences and memories of sword drawing skills merged in his mind. Merge with the original memory. Wang Yi closed his eyes and quickly merged these memories. It was as if he had practiced the art of cutting the sky and drawing the sword thousands of times. Moreover, he possesses the bones of the Emperor of Swords, and the speed of fusing these memories is very fast. In nearly half a day, all these memories were successfully integrated. Not only have you mastered how to use the sword drawing technique, but you also know how to practice this set of sword technique better. As the sun sets, the cool mountain wind blows into the Hall of Absolute Beginning. Wang Yi walked out of the Great Hall and took a breath of fresh air, feeling refreshed. Qin Feiyu, why are you here? At the entrance of the Great Hall, Qin Feiyu has been here for nearly an hour, just standing here waiting, not daring to enter the Hall of Supreme Beginning and disturb Wang Yi. Knowing that his status is low, he is just a disciple of handyman, so he is not qualified to be taught by Saint Lord. Saint Lord, I have some troubles in drawing swords. I wonder if you can teach me. The corners of Wang Yi's mouth curled up, and he said with a light smile, of course it's not a problem. If he doesn't know how to draw a sword, naturally he can't teach the opponent. But last night, Qin Feiyu had already practiced sword drawing to the initiation state, and obtained the strongest experience of this set of sword technique under the system reward. Teach each other, no problem. Thank you Saint Lord for cultivating it. Qin Feiyu quickly knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times. You perform the sky-slashing sword technique first. Wang Yi said with his hands behind his back. Obey. Qin Feiyu stood in the empty square, with his left hand resting on the scabbard and his right hand holding the hilt. Calm down and close your eyes. After a while, he adjusted his breath, opened his eyes suddenly, and pulled out the long sword. Jung. With a sound of sword sound, Emperor Tianjiao's sword was unsheathed at an extremely fast speed, and a silver light flashed, illuminating the dim square. Wang Yi looked at Qin Feiyu and shook his head slightly. You've only scratched the surface of sword drawing, and you don't have the essence of sensing Tao at all. This deity will show you a trick, and let you see what is called the real sky slashing and sword drawing technique. Great. Qin Feiyu's eyes lit up immediately. Saint Lord's kendo qualifications are extremely terrifying, and his sword technique strength should also be extremely strong. I also want to see how strong the real sky slashing swordsmanship is. Where's your wooden sword? Wang Yi asked. The wooden sword is in my residence. Qin Feiyu had obtained this wooden sword since he was a child. Even if he got the Tianjiao Emperor sword, he was not willing to throw away the wooden sword, but kept it carefully. Saint Lord, why don't you use my Emperor sword? He hasn't obtained the space ring yet, so he can't keep the wooden sword with him. A wooden sword is fine. Wang Yi responded. Then I'll get it. Qin Feiyu turned around quickly, ready to go down the mountain. No need. Wang Yi raised his hand, and a terrifying aura of swordsmanship was released from his body. At the same time, let out a sigh. Sword. Hum. At the foot of the mountain, the wooden sword in Qin Feiyu's room heard the call and flew up by itself. At an extremely fast speed, it flew to the top of the mountain and fell into Wang Yi's palm. Qin Feiyu didn't expect it at all, just a call, on the wooden sword, and he could fly to the top of the mountain. What kind of terrifying kendo qualifications are needed to do this? It's terrible, isn't it? Holding the wooden sword in Wang Yi's hand, the aura in his eyes suddenly changed. Like a peerless sword expanding aperture, the terrifying aura of the sword soared into the sky. Qin Feiyu stared fixedly at the wooden sword in Wang Yi's hand, wanting to see how the Saint Lord pulled the sword out of its sheath. However, before the wooden sword was unsheathed, a terrifying sword chi appeared in the sky. The place stabbed by sword chi opened 1,000 jong long crack. On the other side is the dark chaotic world. The breath that comes out at will can devour the world. Qin Feiyu raised his head and looked up at the terrible void, his mouth was wide open, and his pupils were full of shock. Gudong. Straight to the ground, losing all strength. Is this the real power of Zantian and swordsmanship? It's too scary. Even the sky can be cut. As we all know, the stronger the weapon used, the more terrifying its power will be. There is a world of difference between the wooden sword and the Emperor's sword. The Saint Lord can use an ordinary wooden sword to cut 1,000-foot-long crack in the sky. This kind of strength is unimaginable. After a while, the cracks in the void slowly healed. Wang Yi's aura also returned to normal. Saint Lord. Qin Feiyu was puzzled. I have been staring at your hand just now, but I didn't see any movement of you drawing your sword. Why did sword chi soar into the sky? Who said I didn't draw my sword? Wang Yi shook his head slightly. While you were staring at me, I pulled out my sword, slashed at the sky, and put the sword back into its scabbard. It's just that the speed of drawing the sword is too fast, you didn't notice it. Hiss. Qin Feiyu's face was full of astonishment. The speed of drawing the sword is so fast, even the eyes can be fooled. Only then did I know that Saint Lord's strength was too terrifying. This is definitely a heaven and earth peak powerhouse. Wang Yi handed the wooden sword to Qin Feiyu. The art of cutting the sky and drawing the sword, the essence is just one word. Quick. As fast as your hand is, the sword is as powerful as it is. Qin Feiyu listened carefully. Saint Lord, how can I make my sword technique faster? With Wang Yi's hands behind his back, a gust of cold mountain wind blew by, and White's robe moved slightly with the wind, and his voice rang out. When practicing sword technique, get rid of distracting thoughts and immerse yourself in the way of sword wholeheartedly. Soon, it will make you draw your sword faster. These truths were all comprehended after he completely mastered the Zantian swordsmanship. Now it is just right to teach the disciples. Chapter 33 Dragon Fire Emperor Pill Code. Follow the teachings of the Saint Lord. Qin Feiyu kowtowed 3 more times, and then left with the wooden sword. Wang Yi looked at the thin figure and nodded slightly. In more than 10 days, you can make the heaven-slashing sword art initiation, and the sword talent is really extraordinary. The cultivation difficulty of this set of sword technique is much higher than Jin Yiyu's set of cultivation technique. Under normal circumstances, it will take several years, or even 10 years, to initiate. Qin Feiyu was able to initiate in such a short period of time relying on his terrifying kendo aptitude. I believe that it won't be long before his kendo strength will improve significantly. After learning this sword technique, Wang Yi was deeply moved. It's still better to recruit disciples and let them practice to improve their strength faster. If he is allowed to learn this by himself, he does not know how long it will take him to practice a set of sword technique to the extreme. Etc. Looking at Qin Feiyu's back, Wang Yi got some new hints, which appeared after he was accepted as a disciple. Question mark. Qin Feiyu, Qi Condensation 3rd Stage. Qualification. 10,000 Path Venerable Sword Bone. Introduction. Born in Qingyu City, the Qin family. At the time of birth, the vision of the sword bone appeared, which attracted the attention of the patriarch. The parents were killed by the patriarch during a mission. Later, the supreme sword bone was dug up. He was rescued by his father's former confidant, and kept a fate, exiled to Hangzhou. In the introduction, there are several key words that Wang Yi paid attention to. Qingyu City is the largest city in Qingzhou. The strength of Qingyu City is much higher than that of Jinling City. The power of several clans should also be stronger. The appearance of the supreme sword bone led to a tragedy. Tell Qin Feiyu these deep hatreds now, it will only affect his state of mind. It's not too late to wait until he has achieved something in the way of swordsmanship and his state of mind is more stable. Anyway, revenge is not something that happens overnight, and it is useless to say it in advance. Wang Yi came to Wanwan Library, according to memory, went to the 10th floor, and picked up a book from a bookshelf. If you want to recruit that Lu Yanren, you must at least show the ability of Holy Land of Absolute Beginning Pill Refining. I won't pill refining now. However, there is a pill refining cultivation technique in the library, which should be able to attract Lu Yanren. Since the owner of Peach Blossom Valley wants to train Lu Yanren into a pill refining peak powerhouse, as long as he does what he likes, he should be able to achieve his goal. Blow away the floating dirt on the book, revealing 5 large characters of red. Dragon Fire Emperor Alchemy Code. Question mark. Dragon Fire Emperor Alchemy records a kind of uncommon dragon fire alchemy. With the power of dragon fire, quenching pill refining medicine, the effect is greatly improved. If you practice this cultivation technique, you can control the power of dragon fire, and it will be easier to cultivate to the extreme. There are quite a few pill refining cultivation techniques from Uncommon in the Wanwan library, but there is a reason why Wang Yi chose this one. Before, when you opened the gift package, you got an Emperor rank Dan Furnace. Dragon Fire Emperor Pill Furnace. The Dragon Fire Emperor Pill Code combined with the Dragon Fire Emperor Pill Stove can definitely bring out the effect to the extreme. Such 2 Emperor rank treasures still can't impress the owner of Peach Blossom Valley. Wait until April 15th, bring these 2 things, and Lu Yanren will definitely be able to join the Holy Land. At that time, 1 more task can be completed. After completing this task, you can get an 8 Desolation Emperor body. Once Wang Yi merges with the Imperial body again, the disadvantages of the mortal body will completely disappear. From now on, you can fly as high as the sky. Mountain Gate. Jin Yiyu stood beside the stele, with her dual cultivation thighs shining seductively in the sunlight. After coming to the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning for 3 months, although he can only practice for half an hour a day, realm has improved very quickly. Every 10 days, a small realm can be raised. Up to now, it has gone from Gathering Origin 1st stage, breakthrough to Zifu 3rd stage. Across a large realm, the spiritual qi in the practice field is really too strong. 1 day of practice is equivalent to more than 10 days in the outside world. Suddenly, 3 figures appeared on the path in the distance, and one of them was very familiar to her. If you look carefully, who is it if it's not Jin Shikai? Father, why are you here? When Jin Shikai saw his daughter, his heart was hanging, and he finally let go of half of it. I'll come and see you. By the way, why are you staying here? Not going to practice. It's morning now. Normally, the time in the morning is precious and is used to practice martial skill or cultivation technique. I'm here to watch the door. Jin Yiren's voice was clear, with a strong sense of pride. The gatekeeper. Jin Shikai was taken aback for a moment. Shouldn't you be practicing in the morning? Why are you here as the gatekeeper? It's my duty to watch the door. Jin Yiren picked up the token at his waist, turned it over, and engraved the word, "Watch the door," on the back. I'm a janitor disciple now. What? You have been reduced to a janitor disciple. Jin Shi snapped angrily, jumping to the top of his head. His baby girl, but Jade Bone Saint body. Even if you join the Holy Land, you are eligible to become a saint. I never imagined that in this Holy Land of absolute beginning, I was reduced to the situation of a gatekeeper. This is not paying attention to Jin Yiren. Father, you don't understand. Jin Yiren turned her head and glanced at the location of the holy mountain. Speak quietly, don't be heard by the Saint Lord. I don't understand anything. Jin Shikai grabbed Jin Yiren's arm and pulled it away. Come with me now. This holy land of absolute beginning doesn't matter. I don't want it. Jin Yiren swung her arm vigorously, and with such tyrannical force, she flung Jin Shikai's arm away. You really don't understand. Holy land of absolute beginning is good. Even if they are guard disciples, they are not comparable to those saintesses. Saint Lord not only gave her emperor rank to practice cultivation technique, but also gave her holy water. In just 3 months, Art of the Jade Empress practiced 3rd stage. Jade Bone Saint body is also elevated to the realm of evolution. Seeing it, there is a tendency to make respect for the body a step further. Isn't it a fool to leave now? Meng Soaring Dragon, as a member of the 8 Desolation Sacred Cult, was not happy to hear this. What is the position of Saintess? It can't compare to the gate disciple of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Yiyu, I think you are staying in this place where no shit is possible, right? If you join the 8 Desolation Sacred Cult, you can obtain the title of Saintess. Brilliant clothes and fine food every day, various medicine pills to assist in cultivation. Every other month, you can soak in a baling medicinal bath. I can also directly give you a copy of King-ranked cultivation technique, which is very suitable for your constitution. Our holy cult's training ground, spiritual chi is 5 times that of the outside world. You can practice in it for 5 hours a day. This kind of treatment, how can this ghost place compare? These are all the resources of the saintess, and those disciples can't even envy them. He believed that after hearing this, Jin Yiyu would definitely yearn for it and leave Holy Land of Absolute Beginning immediately. That's it. Jin Yiyu raised her eyebrows lightly. Is there anything else? This is much worse than the resources given by Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Okay. Chapter 34 The Holy Cult Attacks. Is this too little? Meng Soaring Dragon felt that Jin Yiyu must not have listened in detail enough, so he explained again. Baling medicine bath is made from hundreds of kinds of elixir, soaked in a wooden basin. It has a miraculous effect on tempering the body. King-rank cultivation technique is also a body-refining cultivation technique, which is very suitable for you. Those personal disciples will not be envious. There is also the practice field, but it has 5 times the spiritual chi of the outside world. Cultivating 5 hours a day is equivalent to 2 days of training outside. So many resources. As long as you join the 8 Desolation Sacred Cult, you can get them. In the future, the strength will increase, and the resources will be appropriately improved. He felt that with such a good treatment, there was no reason for Jin Yiyu not to be tempted. Jin Yiyu covered her mouth and laughed lightly, her 2 big eyes bent into crescents. The medicated bath made of 100 kinds of elixir can only be soaked once a month. Isn't it too bad? Even if it is 100 kinds of elixir, boiled into a liquid medicine, it is not worth as much as a drop of heavenly holy water. Every time she goes to the bath, she can absorb dozens, even hundreds of drops of the holy water of heavenly extremes. As the level of cultivation technique increases, each time the first stage is increased, the amount of holy water absorbed will increase. Let her absorb it, but Saint Lord never showed any distress. This is true luxury. Your saint, only the king-ranked cultivation technique can cultivate. Not even the unnamed disciples of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Zhao Fenger, as a cook, has obtained a cultivation technique of this emperor. As a gatekeeper, she cultivated the best of emperor rank. 100,000 copies of the king rank cultivation technique can't be exchanged for one cultivation technique of this emperor. There is also the practice field. Even if you practice for 5 hours a day, it is equivalent to 2 days in the outside world. Spiritual qi is really weak. Jin Yiyu snorted coldly. In the practice field of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, one can only practice for half an hour a day, which is equivalent to more than 10 days in the outside world. It is far from being comparable to the 8 Desolation sacred religion. Only by comparing each other can we know how big the gap between the two is. Meng Soaring Dragon was irritated by Jin Yiyu's contempt. You are not satisfied with such good treatment from our 8 Desolation sacred sect. Deliberately make a look of contempt. What is the purpose? The Holy Land of Absolute Beginning has long since fallen, and there are no cultivation resources. How can they come up with better resources than the 8 Desolation sacred sect? Yiyu, don't mess around. Jin Shikai had a serious face. Today's situation was bad enough, and Jin Yiyu didn't know what nonsense she was talking about. In case Meng Soaring Dragon is angered, he can't afford to walk around. Father, I'm not messing around. Jin Yiyu put away her smile. The treatment of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, even for the disciples of the handyman, is much better than that of the 8 Desolation sacred cult. There is no falsehood in this statement. Nonsense. Meng Soaring Dragon grabbed Jin Yiyu's hand, trying to forcibly control her and take her away. At this moment, behind Jin Yiyu, a stalwart figure appeared. My disciple, the one you said you could take away. Wang Yi looked coldly at the man in front of him. Who are you? Meng Soaring Dragon did not let go of his hand, and pinched Jin Yiyu's slender arm, leaving a few bright red blood marks. Saint Lord, just you. Meng Soaring Dragon looked Wang Yi from top to bottom. His eyes were full of contempt. You can be a Saint Lord at a young age. I see that there is no one in your Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, right? Is there anyone? It's not your turn to make irresponsible remarks. Wang Yi's eyes were full of coldness. Boy, you really want to die. How dare you rob disciples from our 8 Desolation sacred cult? Meng Soaring Dragon let go of Jin Yiyu, swung his arms, and smashed Wang Yi's head. He was already irritable, and after what happened just now, he was completely angry. The veins on Meng Soaring Dragon's arm bulged, and the punch was exhausted. It was to hit Wang Yi with one blow, and let Jin Yiyu see how vulnerable the so-called Saint Lord was in her eyes. Call. The strong wind howled, and the cheeks of several people were sore. Seeing it, the fist landed in front of Wang Yi, and the latter just raised a finger lightly, and pointed at the fist. Boom. The moment the fingers came into contact with the fist, the arm turned into a cloud of blood mist and shattered into scum. The entire arm, including half of Meng Soaring Dragon's shoulder, was gone. Bang! Meng Soaring Dragon fell in a pool of blood. At this time, he was not that bored at all, and couldn't figure out why he became like this. My arm. Your strength is so strong. Hiss. Even a tough guy gasped in pain. Oh my god. Jin Shikai stepped back 7 or 8 steps, almost collapsing on the ground. This Meng Soaring Dragon is the powerhouse of Mysterious Cave 3rd stage, stronger than him by a big realm. The strongest ability is body refining, the physical body is very tyrannical. Back then, he had seen Wang Yi make a move. However, at that time, Wang Yi was dealing with a junior, only body tempering 5th stage. Realm is divided into Qi Condensation, Body Tempering, Gathering Origin, Purple Mansion, Divine Transformation, Mysterious Cave, MTG. The body refining powerhouse in Mysterious Cave, Wang Yi just tapped his finger, and shattered the opponent's arm. Even hard bones were shattered into white dregs. It's hard to imagine how terrifying the power in this finger is. Soaring Dragon. The 8 Desolation Sacred Church also has an elder named Tang Chen. Tang Chen supported Meng Soaring Dragon's body. Seeing the shocking scars, his heart was beating wildly. I'm here to help you avenge. Tang Chen's strength was 1 realm higher than that of Meng Soaring Dragon, reaching the realm of emptiness. Black Bear Wang Gong. Roar. With a roar, Tang Chen transformed into a giant bear about 10 feet high. Mo Panda's eyes were full of blood-red light. Black Bear Wang Gong is an uncommon bloodline cultivation technique. Black Bear bloodline is required to cast it. After transforming, one's own strength can be increased by 5 times. However, this transformation consumes a lot of itself. The longer the fight, the longer the weakness. After transforming, if you can't deal with the enemy, you will fall into death. Roar. The black bear roared. The terrifying roar, mixed with the stench, made Jin Yiyu pinch her nose. Saint Lord. Watch out. This Tang Chen owns king rank bloodline, which is very powerful. Even knowing Wang Yi's strength, he was still very worried. The black bear clasped its hands like an awl, and smashed it at Wang Yi's head. Under the terrifying strength, the fist speed is extremely fast. Wang Yi still didn't move this time, he still raised a finger and touched the black bear's fists. Overreaching. Boom. The terrifying power passed through the black bear's fist, shattering all the flesh and bones in it. This time, the force Wang Yi used was added with a bit of kunjun, which can pass through the opponent's bones and spread throughout the whole body. The black bear's body stopped in place. In Blood Red's pupils, cracks appeared as fine as spider webs. Chapter 35 defeated in one blow. Snapped. The black bear's pupils exploded, and at the same time, its entire body disintegrated, turning into a blood mist and scattered on the ground. When dying, Tang Chen only had one thought left. This young man's strength is too terrifying. Just moving a finger makes my body completely shattered. If I knew his strength was so strong, I wouldn't fight him if I was killed. The blow just now had already exploded with all its strength. Just one finger completely shattered his body, even the hardest bones. At this time, he was very regretful, but there was no medicine for regret. Let the vision begin to blur, and the consciousness dissipates between the sky and the earth. Meng's soaring dragon fell to the ground, his pupils trembling violently. Terrible. Why is this young man so strong? It can't be a monster. As a young man, he looked about 23 or 24 years old. But it has the strength to defeat the empty and lonely strong with one blow. When Jin Shikai saw this scene, he also kept backing away in fright. After hitting a big tree, he fell a big A. Is this the true strength of Saint Lord? Terrible. Our Jin family must not provoke this person. Even if Jin Yiyu is a janitor disciple, I can't make irresponsible remarks. There are two members of the Eight Desolation Sacred Cult, one is the Peak Master and the other is the Elder. All of these are defeated, and the Jin family is not an opponent. Both are very powerful. Wang Yi walked slowly towards Meng's soaring dragon. The people of the Eight Desolation Sacred Cult only have this strength. That's all. You, cough cough. Meng's soaring dragon spat out another mouthful of blood. Our ancestors of the holy cult will not let you go. Old ancestor. Wang Yi chuckled, are you very strong? The strength of the ancestor is extremely terrifying, and it is definitely not something you can deal with. Meng's soaring dragon's only life-saving straw now is the ancestor. I hope that moving it out can save my life. As long as you let me go and let me go back, I will pretend that what happened today didn't happen. Wang Yi sneered, but didn't take this seriously. You think I'm a 3-year-old? Let you go back, your ancestors will still come. Meng's soaring dragon's only life-saving straw was shattered, and his face was ashen. Really? Let me go, the ancestor will definitely not come. Die. Wang Yi didn't bother to talk nonsense. Since these two people came to find fault and took the initiative to make a move, there is no need to keep alive. Put your two fingers together, like a sword finger, and cut towards Meng's soaring dragon's neck. A white sword chi flew out from the fingertips, cut Meng's soaring dragon's neck off, and rolled his head onto the grass next to him with a gurgle. The blood-red pupils were still staring at him. Since then, the two powerhouses of the Eight Desolation Sacred Cult have all died. Wang Yi looked at Jin Shikai, and the latter knelt on the ground in fright. What's going on here? Visiting relatives, and bringing other people from sect. Saint Lord. Jin Shikai was stared at by Wang Yi's cold eyes, trembling all over. The thing is like this. Yesterday, people from the Eight Desolation Sacred Church came and said they wanted to see Jin Yiyu. I was also forced to tell you about my daughters joining the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Don't blame Saint Lord. At this moment, he really panicked. Wang Yi's strength is so terrifying that even the two powerhouses of the Eight Desolation Sacred Sect are no match for him. The entire Jin family together is nothing more than food delivery to the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Jin Yiyu also knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Wang Yi a few times. Saint Lord, this is the matter. 8 Desolation Sacred Cult had an appointment with my father a long time ago, saying that he wanted me to join, and my father almost agreed. Later, when you came to our house and accepted me as an apprentice, you ignored the matter of the 8 Desolation Sacred Sect. I hope you don't blame me. After listening to these words, Wang already nodded slightly. Forget about it, you two get up. Thank you, Saint Lord. Jin Shikai finally breathed a sigh of relief. I will definitely bring a generous gift to make amends in the future. You don't need to be so polite. Now that Wang Yi has become an emperor, his vision is extremely high, and ordinary things are simply out of sight. Yiyu, since your father is here, let him rest here for 2 days before going back. Jin's house is thousands of miles away from the holy land of absolute beginning. Taking Jin Shikai's current footsteps as an example, it would take a day to get there. Will you disturb Saint Lord's rest? Jin Shikai asked cautiously. It's okay. Wang Yi looked at Jin Yiyu. Take your father to the guest room at the foot of the mountain first, and find a place to live. You can rest for the past 2 days, don't need to look at the mountain gate, and take your father here for a stroll. Jin Yiyu was stunned for a moment, and said, Saint Lord, don't you have to visit the mountain gate for these 2 days? Wang Yi nodded and said, for the sake of your diligence in the past 3 months, I will give you 2 days to rest. Thank you, Saint Lord, for the gift. Jin Yiyu smiled happily, her big eyes bent into crescent shapes. Yeah. Wang Yi just responded softly, the one who comes as the guest. I will order Fenger to cook a good meal tonight, please come to the mountain to talk about it. Saint Lord is too polite, I brought dry food, otherwise forget it. Jin Shikai dared not eat with Saint Lord. If you say a wrong sentence, will your head still be lost? Wang Yi still insisted, come and eat, you're welcome. Then respect is worse than obedience. Jin Shikai agreed. Next, Wang Yi's figure disappeared in place. Gudong. Seeing Saint Lord leave, Jin Shikai collapsed on the ground, panting heavily. Huchi, Huchi. Saint Lord is horrible. I almost died here. It's all caused by those people from the 8 Desolation Sacred Sect. If the Saint Lord blamed him just now, just one thought could kill him tens of thousands of times. This kind of person is absolutely not to be provoked. Father, take your time. Jin Yiyu took out an embroidered handkerchief and wiped the sweat off Jin Shikai's forehead. Actually, Saint Lord is a very nice person. You don't have to be too reserved. Jin Shikai looked at the pool of blood and a corpse on the ground, and his hairs stood on end. Father is afraid. Yiyu, tell me quickly what happened in the past 3 months, how did you become a janitor disciple? I really don't understand this matter. The daughter's aptitude is extremely high, no matter what, she won't be reduced to a janitor disciple, right? Jin Yiyu shook her head bitterly, and said, Saint Lord's vision is extremely high, and his physical aptitude is only enough to become a handyman disciple. What? Jin Shikai was completely stunned. What kind of sect is this? With the aptitude of respecting the body, you can only become a handyman disciple. In this way, what kind of qualifications can one become an Outer Sect disciple? What kind of terrifying aptitude can he be favored by the Saint Lord and be accepted as his son? It is impossible to imagine how terrifying that kind of qualification would be. Yiyu, have you suffered in the past 3 months? I'm afraid it's not easy to be a handyman disciple. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audiobook YouTube channel. Chapter 36, Resources for Handyman Disciples. Speaking of handyman disciples, Jin Shikai thought of those servants in the family. Doing the hardest and most tiring work, with a low salary. Any child in the family can impress the servants. Even, sometimes when servants do wrong things, they will be insulted, punched and kicked. Isn't Jin Yiyu the same as those servants now? No. A smile appeared on Jin Yiyu's delicate face. Although I am a handyman disciple, the treatment is excellent. The position of the saintess of the 8 Desolation Sacred Cult has far fewer chances than mine. Jin Shikai was taken aback when he heard it. What did you say? The handyman disciples of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning have more chances than the saintesses of the 8 Desolation Sacred Sect. When Jin Yiyu was communicating with Meng's soaring dragon just now, although she heard these words, she didn't pay much attention to them. Who would have thought that these were actually true? Father, come with me and visit the training ground in the Holy Land, and you will know. Jin Yiyu stepped forward with her slender, white thighs, twisted her slender waist, and slowly walked towards the back mountain. There are many places in the Holy Land that outsiders cannot set foot in. However, it is not a big problem just to visit outside. Okay. Jin Shikai looked at the charming back of his daughter, and was stunned. Is this still my daughter? Why is she in such a good shape? The aura on my body is much stronger than before. Now Jin Yiyu has a perfect figure and very good skin. Especially the pair of jade legs, with a seductive luster under the sun, like the finest suet jade, delicate and very smooth. Yiyu, has your jade bone saint body improved? Jin Yiyu nodded slightly. Thanks to the gift of Saint Lord, I was able to raise jade bone saint body to the state of perfection in just 3 months. What? Jin Shikai was completely stunned, his eyes full of disbelief. Say it again, what realm is jade bone saint body in? He suspected that he had heard wrong just now. Entering the realm of transformation. Jin Yiyu turned her head and said softly. Hiss. Jin Shikai gasped for more than a dozen breaths, almost bursting his lungs. In 3 months, you will break through to the state of perfection. Terrible. Before, the family spent countless resources just to help Jin Yiyu raise Jade Bone Saint Body's realm up. But after spending a lot of resources, the effect is still not ideal, and even the simplest small-scale achievement has not been achieved. The realm of Constitution is divided into Shaocheng, Great Completion, Ruhua, and Apex. Every time you upgrade a realm, your aptitude will be greatly improved, and the strength of your physical body will also become higher. Moreover, after reaching the Apex environment, there is still a chance to promote the Constitution to a stronger level. At that time, it is the real butterfly that breaks out of the cocoon. Jinshikai found the best cultivation technique, and spent a lot of resources, and didn't even see the edge of Shaochengxing. After coming to the Holy Land, it was too exaggerated to upgrade 3 realms in just 3 months. Jin Yiyu smiled faintly, as beautiful as that orchid blooming. Thanks to Saint Lord's holy water, I was able to break through to this realm in such a short period of time. Holy water. Jin Shikai coughed a few times when he heard the word and thought of something unhealthy. Yiyu, you won't have those things happen with Saint Lord, will you? Father. Jin Yiyu said coquettishly, what are you thinking? I'm talking about heavenly holy water. What? Jin Shikai was stunned. Saint Lord has heavenly holy water. He knew that this was a kind of treasure from the holy mountain of extreme heaven. Only 1 drop can be condensed every 100 years. Every time the heavenly extreme holy mountain is opened, it will attract all great saints to fight frantically. In terms of the background of the Jin family, there is no way to find the holy water of the extreme heaven. Even if you use the holy water of heaven, the speed of improvement is not so fast, right? He once estimated that even a drop of holy water would not be able to raise Jade Bone Saint body to a small realm. Yes. Jin Yiyu nodded lightly. Saint Lord has a lot of holy water, let me use it as I please. In the past 3 months, I have used 110 drops. Gudong. Jin Shikai swallowed hard, and looked at the other party with a dull face. Tell me again, how many drops did you use? 110 drops. Jin Yiyu said very proudly. Saint Lord also said that as long as it can improve my jade body, it doesn't matter how much I use. My God. Jin Shikai was completely confused. Is this the foundation of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning? There is only 1 drop of celestial holy water in 100 years, you can take it as you like. As a handyman disciple of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, there is such a good treatment. If this becomes an inner disciple, how good will the treatment be? This is absolutely beyond his imagination. Jin Yiyu showed a beautiful smile. Father, I'm in the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, not only got holy water, but also a cultivation technique. Guess what it is? King rank cultivation technique. Jin Shikai guessed, if he wanted to use holy water to cultivate, it must be the king rank cultivation technique. The conditions given by the 8 Desolation Sacred Church, after becoming a saint, one can get a king rank cultivation technique. Jin Yiyu waved her jade finger. No. Guess again. Is that imperial rank? Jin Shikai asked in surprise. If it is imperial rank, it is much stronger than that given by the 8 Desolation Saints. With her hands on her hips, Jin Yiyu said coquettishly, Father, can't you guess higher? The imperial rank cultivation technique, in the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, is like a Chinese cabbage on the roadside, not worth mentioning. Hiss. Jin Shikai scratched his head. Imperial rank cultivation technique is all Chinese cabbage. This holy land of absolute beginning is too scary, right? Could it be? Thinking of a certain possibility, the eyeballs almost popped out. Emperor. Emperor rank. Jin Yiyu giggled coquettishly. That's right, it's the Emperor rank cultivation technique. It's called Art of the Jade Empress. Oh my god. Jin Shi opened his jaw and almost knocked on the ground. Emperor rank is the best, Art of the Jade Empress. The Holy Land of Absolute Beginning actually has this magic skill. Terrible. Art of the Jade Empress is a cultivation technique most suitable for Jade Bone Saint body cultivation. As long as you can obtain and find suitable heavenly and mortal treasures, you can continuously improve Jade Bone Saint body. Even, there is hope to be promoted to the imperial body. This is the opportunity everyone dreams of. No one would have imagined that this once declining holy land of absolute beginning would have such an uncommon opportunity. Ha ha ha. Jin Shi opened his head and laughed loudly. At the beginning when Dad decided to let you join the holy land of absolute beginning, it was indeed the right choice. This handyman disciple of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning is 10,000 times stronger than the Holy Maiden of the Eight Desolations sacred religion. Okay. That's great. At this moment, he was so excited. He also recognized the identity of the handyman disciple very much. Chapter 37. Do sweepers have this kind of strength? No matter what your status is in this Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, isn't it enough to get a powerful opportunity? Jin Yiyu took Jin Shikai and set foot on a path. Swish swish swish. At the corner ahead, there was the sound of sweeping the floor. A young man with a green sword hanging from his waist held a broom about as tall as himself, earnestly sweeping the dead grass and leaves on the ground. When Jin Yiyu saw this person, she smiled faintly and introduced to her father. This is our handyman disciple from the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, responsible for cleaning the mountain gate. Oh. Jin Shikai nodded, but didn't care too much in his heart. In his consciousness, the disciples who sweep the mountain gate generally have poor aptitude. I really forgot, Jin Yiyu is also a handyman disciple. There is a poisonous snake hidden in the grass on the right, and the sound of sweeping the floor alarms the poisonous snake. It hid there, and when the boy approached, it popped out the snake's head and bit towards the calf. Be careful. Qingling poisonous snake. Jin Shikai recognized the poisonous snake with just a glance. This is a very scary snake in the cultivation world. The poison sac contains highly poisonous poison. As long as it is bitten, the cultivator, which is slightly lower in realm, will die within half an hour. Moreover, the speed of the Qingling poisonous snake is extremely fast. After approaching, he was bitten by the poisonous snake before he could react. The flat cyan snake head bit towards the boy's calf with lightning speed. The boy didn't panic. I saw him pull out the green sword from his waist at an extremely fast speed. Swish. The cold light flashed across the arc of the half-moon, cut off the flying snake's head, and returned to its sheath at a dizzying speed. Click. When the sword was drawn, there was no muddle in the slightest. Swish swish swish. The young man seemed to have done an ordinary thing, continuing to clean up the snake corpses on the ground with a broom. What a powerful sword move. Jin Shi opened his eyes and suddenly lit up. This boy is not simple. Do all the handyman disciples have such terrifying swordsmanship? Judging from the movement of the young man's sword in slaying the snake just now, it seems that the sword move has been practiced tens of thousands of times. Jin Yiyu smiled coquettishly. Father, don't underestimate this junior. He has a sword bone body. Jin Shikai was completely petrified, and looked at the young man with dull eyes. A handyman disciple who sweeps the floor has a sword bone statue. What kind of power is this? In other holy places, if you meet the qualifications of respecting the body, you must be accepted as a holy son or a holy woman. Use the best resource, cultivation technique. There is no need to do chores at all every day, as long as you practice seriously. But in the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, respecting the body is like cheap Chinese cabbage, and can only become a handyman disciple. At this moment, there was only one thought left in Jin Shikai's mind. That's, Holy Land of Absolute Beginning is not easy. Junior brother. Jin Yiyu said hello. Master. Senior sister. Qin Feiyu couldn't move his eyes when he saw senior sister's dual cultivation long and white jade legs. The movement of the hand also paused slightly. 18 years old, exactly the age of Fang Gang of Blood Qi, seeing such a tempting scenery, it's strange to be able to hold on. When Jin Yiyu saw Qin Feiyu's fiery eyes, she didn't mind at all, but secretly pleased. Secretly said, "Little brother is in such an embarrassment, it seems that my art of the Jade Empress is not a problem." But, why didn't Saint Lord respond? Or is it that Saint Lord's mood is too high, and my beauty is not enough to move his heart? A cultivator needs to concentrate on cultivation and get rid of distracting thoughts in order to go further on this road. Only by pursuing the Tao wholeheartedly can we come to the end. A little bit of distracting thoughts will have an impact on the state of mind. Think about it, in the middle of cultivation, if you are immersed in beauty, you will definitely waste a lot of energy on women. Not to mention less time for practicing, the body will still be weak. Over time, it will cause realm to stagnate. Like those who are powerful in the world, they will not be immersed in female S***X. Jin Yiyu guessed that Wang Yi was in the situation just now. Master. Senior sister. Qin Feiyu tried to move his eyes away. Junior brother, why don't you dare to look up at me? Jin Yiyu asked doubtfully. Still looking down at the grass, Qin Feiyu murmured softly, "The Saint Lord said that female S***X will only affect the speed at which I draw my sword. Only by immersing yourself in the way of swordsmanship wholeheartedly can you go further." In his heart, there is only one pursuit. That is the ultimate swordsmanship. Anything that violates the way of the sword must be eliminated. So that's how it is. Jin Yiyu put her jade hand on Qin Feiyu's shoulder lightly. "You have to work hard and catch up with the senior sister." Qin Feiyu swallowed when he smelled the alluring scent of orchids. With a shake of his body, he avoided that delicate jade hand. "Just now the Saint Lord ordered me to go to the mountain gate to clean up the bones, I will go first." After finishing speaking, he quickly ran towards the mountain gate. This junior brother is so silly, it's quite interesting. Jin Yiyu looked at the receding figure with a charming smile on her face. Next, the two came to the location of the practice field in the back mountain. Jin Yiyu pointed at the practice field. "This is the training ground for our holy land of absolute beginning. The concentration of spiritual qi inside is hundreds of times that of the outside world. Even if you practice for half an hour, it is equivalent to more than 10 days of cultivation in the outside world. Compared to that, the practice field of the 8 Desolation Holy Land is not worth mentioning. That's why, when Meng Soaring Dragon said those words, Jin Yiyu scoffed. Jin Shi opened his eyes wide open. Cultivating for half an hour is equivalent to more than 10 days in the outside world. The spiritual qi in this practice field is too strong, right? Anyway, he had never seen such a strong spiritual qi. Father, you now know why I sneered at the 8 Desolation Holy Land, right? Well, Dad knows. You, join the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning and become a handyman disciple. That's smoke from the ancestral grave. Jin Shikai had a bright smile on his face. From now on, I will perform well in this Holy Land, and strive to be appreciated by the Saint Lord one day, and promote you as an Outer Sect disciple. HMPH, Jin Yiyu snorted coquettishly, is that enough for you to be an Outer Sect disciple? My goal is even bigger. Sooner or later, I will be an inner disciple. Jin Shikai had a smile on his face. With your aptitude, inner discipline, I'm afraid it's a little bit hanging. If you have a goal, you have motivation. Jin Yiyu also vowed in her heart that she must become an inner disciple in the future. Jin Shi laughed and said, "Okay. You have to work hard, Dad will count on you from now on." Nightfall. The moon is bright and the stars are sparse, and the cool mountain wind blows the leaves and makes them rustle. Next to the main hall, there is a reception hall, which has a large space and can be used to entertain guests. The 8 Immortals table is placed in the hall, and delicate dishes are placed on the table. In detail, there are 8 dishes. Chapter 38 Promoting Disciples. When the dishes were ready, Wang Yi pointed at the table. "It's all mountain game, it's not on the table, Patriarch Jin please use it." Saint Lord was joking. Jin Shikai looked at the plate of braised phoenix meat on the table, secretly speechless. This is phoenix meat. Still can't get on the stage. Put it before, let alone eat phoenix, even the shadow of phoenix has never been seen. If I really saw it, I'm afraid it was also eaten by phoenix. Jin Shikai picked up the chopsticks, picked up a small piece of phoenix meat, and put it in his mouth. It is tender and juicy in the mouth, and the taste is extremely delicious. Huh, it's delicious. Unexpectedly, one day I can eat phoenix meat. Wang Yi picked up the chopsticks and tasted all the dishes. Among the 8 dishes, only a small dish is phoenix meat. The rest are wild game from the mountains, collected by Zhao Fenger. Fenger, this phoenix fire roasted mutton is getting more and more delicious. Wang Yi said in admiration after picking up a few pieces of mutton. Thank you Saint Lord for your praise. Zhao Fenger was delighted when she heard this. In the past 3 months, she has been delving into the recipes, thinking about how to cook food for Saint Lord. Jin Shikai naturally knew Zhao Fenger. I just saw her become the cook of Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, but I was quite shocked. Wang Yi pointed at the phoenix fire roasted lamb. Patriarch Jin, you have to taste this spiritual mutton too. Roasted with phoenix fire, there is a trace of phoenix fire in it, and the nourishing effect is excellent after eating. Spirit sheep are a kind of demonic beasts. After absorbing spiritual qi, they produce spiritual wisdom, and they can be encountered occasionally in the mountains. Combining phoenix fire with mutton is an excellent aphrodisiac, much stronger than eating sheep p**** alone. Fengwo roasted lamb. Jin Shikai had heard of this dish before, but it was too uncommon. It is said that only real bosses are eligible to eat it. Spirit mutton is more common, but that phoenix fire is not. The person who controls Fengwo, who is not a genius, who would be willing to be a cook. Lifting the exquisite jade chopsticks, he picked up a piece of fat and thin mutton. Take a bite, the smell of mutton oil spreads in the mouth, and there is a faint fiery force. After eating, I feel warm and very comfortable. Good. What a delicious meal one by one. Being able to eat a bite is not in vain. I am also feeling emotional in my heart. I'm afraid this is the first time in Holy Land of Absolute Beginning that someone with the blood of the red fire and phoenix is recruited to be a cook. For another faction, at least it must be a direct disciple. After a meal, Wang Yi praised, Fenger, your craftsmanship is getting better and better. You have performed very well in the past 3 months since you joined the Holy Land. Bloodline has also been promoted to Exalted Blood. How about this, the deity promotes you as a handyman disciple. However, I will still work in the kitchen in the future. When Zhao Fenger heard this, she showed a beautiful smile. Quickly knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times to Wang Yi. Thank you Saint Lord for cultivation. The handyman disciples of the Holy Land are treated unimaginably. Even if I still work in the kitchen in the future, it will be very good. Hearing this, Jin Shikai was stunned for a moment. What? Zhao Fenger is already a respected blood. In the beginning, Zhao Fenger was only the Emperor's blood, and there was still a long way to go from the honored blood. Unexpectedly, after joining Holy Land of Absolute Beginning for 3 months, Bloodline was promoted to a big realm. It's amazing. Wang Yi continued, if you are promoted to a handyman disciple, the resources you will get will be better. The practice field can practice for half an hour every day. Thank you Saint Lord for the gift. Zhao Fenger immediately beamed with joy. In the past, as an anonymous disciple, she could only practice for half an hour in the practice field every 3 days. Now, when he is promoted to be a handyman disciple, he can practice for half an hour every day, which is equivalent to 3 times as much as before. Don't underestimate this half an hour. Under the terrifying concentration of spiritual qi, it is equivalent to more than 10 days in the outside world. Wang Yi flipped his wrist, took out a white jade bottle, and held it in his thick palm. And this bottle of 9 mysterious heaven phoenix blood essence, it's your reward for becoming a handyman disciple. Zhao Fenger's eyes trembled violently, staring fixedly at the bottle of phoenix blood essence. This is the 9 mysterious heaven phoenix blood essence. A drop of blood essence is the essence of the 9 mysterious heaven phoenixes, and its value is immeasurable. After absorbing, there is a chance for Bloodline to be promoted to 9 mysterious heaven phoenixes. Tianfeng Bloodline is just a low-level phoenix blood. 9 mysterious heaven phoenix, apex phoenix blood, equivalent to apex Zun body. If Zhao Fenger obtained the 9 mysterious heaven phoenix bloodline, it would be equivalent to a qualitative sublimation. Saint Lord, these 9 mysterious heaven phoenix blood essence are too precious. Fenger dare not want. Becoming a handyman disciple has this kind of treatment. May I ask which holy place can do it? 10 drops of blood essence are nothing more than nothing. Wang Yi dragged the jade bottle and said in a flat voice. Divine Sect system, help disciples improve bloodline, will get Divine Sect large gift bag. The rewards are very generous. As long as Zhao Feng'er bloodline can be promoted, this gift will be worth it. Thank you Saint Lord for the gift. Zhao Feng'er took the jade bottle over and swore inwardly. All my life, I will serve the Saint Lord. No matter what, you will not do anything to betray the Holy Land. Jin Shikai next to him stared at the exquisite jade bottle, completely dumbfounded. That's 9 mysterious heaven phoenix blood essence. The most apex existence in the blood. 1 drop of blood essence is priceless. In this holy land, you can get such a good opportunity to become a handyman disciple. This kind of treatment is simply unheard of and unseen. Saint Lord. Jin Shikai looked at Wang Yi, and said cautiously, our Jin family still has a lot of people with good qualifications. I wonder if they can join the Holy Land. Even if they are unnamed disciples. What qualifications? Wang Yi adhered to the principle of the system, and the requirements for accepting apprentices were very strict. The strongest one, named Jin Linglong, has soft palm bones. Jin Shikai looked expectant, hoping that the Saint Lord would show mercy and include him in the Holy Land. Here, even if it is a handyman, it is not comparable to other holy places. Ru Shui palm bone. Wang Yi stroked his stubbled chin, his eyes thoughtful. I do know this constitution. Ru Shui metacarpal bones, equivalent to imperial bones, have the aptitude of imperial physique. Metacarpal bone is good at performing palm techniques. If you practice hard, you can go a long way in palming in the future. I hope the Saint Lord will show mercy. Jin Shikai knelt on the ground directly, with a humble expression on his face. Jin Linglong has a cute personality, is very sensible, and can do everything. As long as you can get her to join the Holy Land, no matter what you do, you can do it. Okay. Wang Yi nodded slightly. This deity still lacks a maid who can hold her shoulders and back and take care of daily life, so let this Jin Linglong come. Thank you Saint Lord for the gift. Jin Shikai suppressed the joy in his heart, and almost let out a goose cry from laughter. Chapter 39 Refining Blood Essence. The chefs who cook are all treated so well. 2 consecutive breakthrough bloodlines within 3 months. Jin Linglong came to be her personal maid. As long as she took care of Wang Yi, wouldn't the resources come easily? At this time, Jin Shikai had imagined that Jin Linglong would join the Holy Land, the Fist Bone would be promoted twice, and the Emperor Bone would be promoted to Zun Bone. 2 members of the Jin family have joined the Holy Land, and they are really going to go sideways in this Hangzhou in the future. Please get up. Wang Yi casually released a wave of spiritual qi, supporting Jin Shikai's body. At that time, you can bring Jin Linglong with you. Thank you, Saint Lord. Jin Shikai felt that it must be the smoke from the Jin family's ancestral grave. No, it was smoke, so that 2 members of the clan could become unnamed disciples of the Holy Land of Absolute beginning at the same time. Late at night, the backyard of the Imperial Kitchen. Zhao Feng'er sat in the lotus position, the phoenix imprint on her forehead shone with a faint red light. Saint Lord, absorbing blood essence this time, why is it here in the Imperial Kitchen? With his hands behind his back, Wang Yi said in a magnetic voice, 10 drops of blood essence from 9 mysterious heaven phoenixes may not necessarily make your bloodline advance to 9 mysterious heaven phoenixes. Tianfeng Bloodline, the foundation is too weak. Tianfeng Bloodline is just a low-level respected blood. 9 mysterious heaven phoenix, is the blood of apex, the gap between the two is huge. Therefore, 10 drops of phoenix blood essence are not enough to advance Zhao Feng'er's bloodline. At this time, some special methods are used. Saint Lord, what method do you want to use? Zhao Feng'er didn't know what was available in the backyard of the Imperial Kitchen Palace. Use it. Wang Yi pointed to the pile of blazing emerald wood in the corner. This method comes from Tianjiao Emperor Fengdian. Zhao Feng'er read the book Initiation, and he got a complete cultivation method, and analyzed some special methods that can be used. Qiwen Demu. Zhao Feng'er was full of doubts, not knowing how the Qiwen Demu could help her. You refine the blood essence first. Wang Yi didn't explain much. Obey. Zhao Feng'er pulled out the mahogany cork from the jade bottle, tilted the bottle mouth, and a bean-sized drop of red blood fell on her tender palm. Phoenix blood essence, heavier than 1,000 pounds. Zhao Fenger's jade hand sank immediately. 9 mysterious heaven phoenix blood essence, also has endless coercion. Very scary. Run the Tianjiao Emperor Fengdian, and fully refine this drop of blood essence according to the method of absorbing phoenix blood recorded in it. The stronger the cultivation technique, the stronger the recorded absorption method. Common's absorption method can only absorb 10% of the power of blood essence. The remaining bloodline will be wasted. A better cultivation technique will absorb more blood essence. Like this Heavenly Fire Emperor Phoenix book, not only can completely absorb a drop of blood essence, but also burst out stronger power, promoting the promotion of bloodline in the body. 1 drop of blood essence is at least equivalent to 3 drops of blood essence. This is the tyranny of Emperor Fengdian. That's why countless Feng clans are looking for this town's treasure. The cultivation technique was running, and the drop of blood essence in his hand emitted a faint red mist, permeating Zhao Fenger's body. At this moment, her body seemed to be immersed in phoenix fire. The phoenix mark on the top of the head became brighter. Introduce the blood essence into the body, and extract all the power in it according to the operation method of the cultivation technique. Then, use these powers to temper the phoenix blood essence in the body. Bloodline is improving rapidly. Zhao Fenger sighed in admiration. As expected of the Heavenly Fire Emperor Fengdian, the power of this drop of phoenix blood essence has been fully utilized. Using this apex method to temper, the bloodline upgrade speed is too fast. The slightly weaker cultivation technique can emit 70% to 80% of the power of bloodline, which is not bad. Just like that, Zhao Fenger cast cultivation technique and absorbed phoenix blood essence. The bloodline in the body becomes more and more pure and stronger. Just after Zhao Fenger introduced a drop of blood essence into her body, Wang Yi moved beside her. With a touch of his finger, a plump piece of blazing emerald wood flew towards him. Putting his hands together into sword fingers, he swiped lightly at Demu. A bright white sword chi whizzed out from the fingertips and slashed past Demu. Boom! The broken Demu fell to the ground with a dull sound. Zhao Fenger, who was condensing blood essence, opened her eyes after hearing the strange noise, and saw an extremely shocking scene. Wang Yi swiped his finger 8 times in a row, but only released sword chi, and cut the hard Demu into 10 sections. The incision was very smooth, as if it had been cut with that imperial axe. Oh my god! Saint Lord can cut off Demu with sword chi. It's too scary, isn't it? This is Demu. Even imperial rank weapons cannot be easily cut off. And the sword chi that Wang Yi casts casually has such terrifying power. It's hard to imagine how terrifying his strength is. Or, that sword chi is not simple, but some kind of terrifying sword technique, but I didn't realize it. Wang Yi picked up a piece of Demu wood, slapped it, and snapped his fingers. A cluster of flames condensed on the fingertips and flew towards Demu. Demu instantly burst into flames. Zhao Fenger was completely shocked. Just using spiritual chi to transform into flames, is it so terrifying? How strong is Saint Lord? As long as you practice some flame-type cultivation technique, you can use spiritual chi to transform into flames. However, this transformation is not as strong as a real flame. The stronger the cultivation technique, the stronger the spiritual chi, the more ferocious the power of fire. Like the Tianjiao Emperor Fengdian, which records how to use spiritual chi to transform flames. At the same time, it also records the method of flame control. In the past 3 months, Zhao Fenger has carefully studied these contents. All in the initiation realm. Initiation is simple, but if you want to learn more, the difficulty is high. Wang Yi slapped the emperor wood with his palm, and the burning emperor wood stake exploded with a bang, scattering thousands of tiny pieces, floating around Zhao Fenger's body. Zhao Fenger looked carefully, and found that the size of each piece was very uniform. This can explode the Chiwen Demu with just a single slap. How terrifying is this power? Moreover, the powder is very uniform, which shows that Saint Lord has a strong control over this power. Is this still something humans can do? Saint Lord can't be a god. I really can't think of what kind of strength can achieve this level. Calm down and focus on training, Wang Yi said. Zhao Fenger quickly closed her eyes, not daring to look around. I also swear in my heart that the scene I saw just now must not be revealed. It would be bad if the Saint Lord was displeased. Huh. The blazing emerald wood is burning violently, and the power of the flames released makes the power of the flames of blood essence stronger. Just now, Zhao Feng'er had a little difficulty absorbing those phoenix blood essences. Now, it feels very difficult. The flame power of phoenix blood essence is at least twice as strong as before. The enhanced power of Phoenix Fire acts on the Emperor Phoenix Code Cultivation Technique, and the overall effect is increased by 6 times. In other words, 1 drop of Phoenix blood essence now is equivalent to 2 drops before. 10 drops is 20 drops. However, the process of absorption is much more difficult than before. Just now, Zhao Feng'er absorbed the power of the Phoenix blood. All he needed to do was concentrate his mind to control it. Now, you must concentrate on it to absorb it. A little bit of divine partition, there will be mistakes. The process of absorption is also very painful. Under the scorching flames of Demu, she was like a roast suckling pig, her delicate skin was completely red. Zhao Feng'er gritted her teeth and persisted. In the blink of an eye, a day has passed. Finally absorbed a single drop of Phoenix blood essence. The power of bloodline in the body has increased by more than 10%. According to this trend, if all 10 drops of blood essence are absorbed, bloodline will definitely be promoted. Thank you, Saint Lord. Zhao Feng'er knew that if it wasn't for Saint Lord's miraculous method, there would be no way for Feng Shui to be promoted. Continue. Wang Yi had no intention of giving Zhao Feng'er a rest, and prepared the second Qiyuan Demu. Ah! Zhao Feng'er called out coquettishly, can I rest for a while? Haven't you heard a saying? It's called strike while the iron is hot. Wang Yi pointed at Zhao Feng'er's tender body. By using the remaining power of that drop of blood essence, continue to absorb it, and the effect will be slightly stronger. Okay. Zhao Feng'er nodded, poured out another drop of blood essence, and cast Cultivation Technique to absorb it. Just like that, blood essence is rapidly being consumed. With every drop absorbed, the red mark on Zhao Feng'er's forehead will become brighter. Chapter 40 The Big Happy Event. Jin Ling City, the Jin family. Jin Shikai returned to the clan, did not rest, but went directly to the backyard, and found clan elder Jin Wu. Elder of the Jinwu clan, I have a great event to tell you. Jin Wu is a respected elder in the clan, and his words are very important. Happy event. Hearing this, Jin Wu immediately thought of Jin Yiyu's matter. What happy event? The 8 Desolation sacred religion adopted Yiyu as a saint. If it's a happy event, Jin Yiyu's joining the 8 Desolation sacred cult is indeed one of them. Based on his guess, if the 2 experts from the 8 Desolation sacred religion came forward, they would definitely be able to bring Jin Yiyu back. The 8 Desolation sacred cult is better than the declining holy land of absolute beginning. It's not about this. Then what's the happy event? Jin Wu asked suspiciously. Listen to me to talk about another matter first, and then explain the happy event. Jin Shikai recounted what he saw and heard in the Holy Land in the past 2 days. I took 2 people from the 8 Desolation sect to the Holy Land, but they were all killed by the Saint Lord. What? Jin Wu was shocked, both of them are dead. One of them is the Holy Elder. The 2 of the Holy Cult clashed with the Saint Lord in the beginning. Jin Shikai said with reverence on his face, the Saint Lord's strength is extremely terrifying, he killed the 2 of them with just a flick of his finger, and there is no room for resistance. Quote. Hiss. Jin Wu opened his mouth completely round, Saint Lord's strength is too strong. The elder of the 8 Desolation sacred religion has a state of emptiness. If you want to kill it easily, you need at least a big realm. Then what exactly is the happy event you're talking about? The death of the 2 Shengjiao people may implicate the Jin family, and they will not have a good life in the future. This is a very bad thing. Jin Shikai looked smug, and said with a smile, I found a good influencer for your granddaughter, Jin Linglong. Good power. Jin Wu raised his eyebrows, could it be the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning? That's right. Jin Shi laughed, after seeing Saint Lord's strength, I begged him for mercy, hoping to accept the clansmen as disciples. There are so many people in the Jin family, the Saint Lord only has his eyes on Jin Linglong. Said she was going to be a maid. The previous paragraph is quite normal, but the more you hear it, the more uncomfortable it becomes. Jin Wu stared fiercely at Jin Shikai. What? You want Jin Linglong to be a maid? Is this still begging the Saint Lord? Is it still called mercy? The kind of people begging, how come they must be direct disciples, right? Now, Jin Shikai begged for a long time, just for the position of a maid. It doesn't sound right. The maid can only be regarded as an anonymous disciple, who has to do the hardest and most tiring work, and will be pointed at by others. You don't understand. Jin Shikai rolled his eyes. I knelt down to the Saint Lord before he agreed to accept Jin Linglong as a maid. Jin Wu rolled up his arms and sleeves, and almost made a move on Jin Shi. My precious granddaughter, how can she become a maid? I'll tell you, and you'll know. Jin Shikai explained what he saw in the past 2 days. In the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, Yiyu only became a handyman disciple and was in charge of guarding the gate, but she got a very rich opportunity. Emperor rank Cultivation Technique. Holy water. Did you know that Yiyu's current Jade Bone Saint body has reached the state of perfection? After hearing these words, Jinwu was still skeptical. Patriarch, is what you said true? I can swear to the sky, what I just said is not a half lie. Jin Shikai raised 4 fingers and said solemnly. Seeing the patriarch like this, Jinwu finally believed it. So, this holy land of absolute beginning is not easy. All the handyman disciples are treated so well. I just don't know how an unnamed disciple like Jin Linglong is treated. Did you ever ask? Jin Shikai shook his head slightly, and sighed, how dare I ask about the treatment? The Saint Lord agreed to accept Jin Linglong as a maid, which is already a kindness. I believe that Saint Lord will not treat her badly. Did you know that Zhao Feng'er also joined the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, and within 3 months, Bloodline was promoted to Tianfeng? Even if they emptied all of their Jin family, it would be impossible to train Zhao Feng'er into Tianfeng Bloodline. Hiss. Jin Wu gasped, it seems that the unnamed disciples of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning are treated very well. Okay, then I agree to let Linglong join the Holy Land. However, if there is any mistake, I will blame you. In his heart, he was still a little worried, so he let out this cruel sentence. Clan Elder, don't worry, I can assure you that Jin Linglong will not suffer a loss. Jin Shikai comforted again, just put your heart in your stomach. Let Jin Linglong go to the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning first. After a few months, let's go and have a look together, won't it be clear? Yeah, Jin Wu nodded. 4 days later. Outside the mountain gate of the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning, a middle-aged man and a charming woman who looked about 18 years old came. Those big eyes are piercing, giving people a sense of intelligence. Linglong, this is the Holy Land of Absolute Beginning. Jin Shikai took Jin Linglong and flew for more than a day to arrive. Along the way, he kept giving Jin Linglong advice, hoping that she would take this identity seriously. The mountain gate is so cold. Jin Linglong really didn't want to come to this place, and seeing this sparsely populated holy place made her feel even more depressed. Linglong, let me tell you, this Saint Lord's maid is a good job. Jin Shikai said earnestly. I can't be envied by others. If it wasn't for your royal body aptitude, you wouldn't be eligible for the position of maid. In the future, you will know my good intentions. I also sighed in my heart. If it wasn't for his poor aptitude, Saint Lord wouldn't have liked him at all, and he was a big man again. He has the heart to abandon the position of patriarch and come as a boy for the Saint Lord. I don't believe it. Jin Linglong said, mist appeared in her eyes. Patriarch, did you sell Linglong, and you took advantage? How is it possible? Jin Shikai's head suddenly became dizzy. Look over there, it's Yiyu. Go ask her, and you'll know if I'm telling lies. Jin Linglong is 2 years younger than Jin Yiyu, and her realm is also lower, only body tempering 6th stage. The relationship between the two was good at the time, and they were very good girlfriends. Yiyu. Jin Linglong walked in and took a look. She couldn't help being stunned. Why is your skin so good? Although Jin Yiyu's skin was fair before, she didn't have such a translucent feeling. Moreover, the legs are not as straight as they are now. It can be called a pair of perfectly round and natural, finely crafted beautiful legs. As a woman, she was also fascinated by this leg. Jin Yiyu had a proud smile on her face. Of course it's because of the gift of Saint Lord that I can be so bright. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audiobook to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.